Let's just start it. Let's just start. I'm gonna cut all of that out. That doesn't work. That doesn't work as an intro at all.
Are you really? Or are you not?
No, the only part that will be left in is I'm cutting all of that out.
Yeah. You already know the exact strategy of
and no one will know what we talked about.
Which is the best kind of intro,
we're back, everyone. We're back. It's we were gone for a bit because life was busy. But we're back.
100% slur free.
Yeah. At least in the first minute when YouTube stops listening.
Yeah.
And then after that, we're
then it's open season.
Yeah.
Start a stopwatch and then I can let everyone know.
We're about 30 seconds in.
Yeah. And
can't say the F word, can't say the C word. But as soon as that minute's up.
Yep. Now we're going to say Jinjo. Now I'm allowed to say Jinjo.
Is that for real? Wait, what are you talking about?
No, YouTube has a thing where they change. It's actually the first 15 seconds they claim, but I've been conservatively doing the first minute.
Where you can't do what?
You can't use what they call hard swearing.
Yeah.
Hell and damn is fine.
Yeah.
Wait, in the first 15 seconds?
Yes. You can say Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Only light cursive.
But not Jean-Claude Van shit until we're past this minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what is the theory behind that?
We're not at the minute.
It's for advertisers.
It's just YouTube's. It was just algorithm. YouTube's new policy.
But I don't get it. How does that affect 15?
It basically demonetizes your video.
Yeah.
If you have cursing.
Why only the first 15 seconds?
Because advertisers don't want to be placed adjacent to cursing and non-safe for family.
But what
content.
If you curse in the rest of the episode?
To the advertisers, for some reason, 15 seconds is enough separation.
Yeah.
What? That seems so arbitrary.
I mean, that's why everyone thought it was so stupid.
Excuse me, Sarah, are you new to this YouTube thing? Do you not know that?
I didn't know.
They have random things.
Random stupid ideas.
And for all we know, by the time this episode goes up, the policy will be completely different.
Yeah. And the crazy part is...
They'll be like, the first 15 minutes you can curse. The first 15 seconds you can curse. The first 2 minutes, yes, you can't curse. After that, you're okay.
The crazy part is they enacted the policy retroactively. So videos that already existed
that was the worst part.
were getting flagged. And it later came up that they were specifically being harder on videos marked for video games. So if it was video games specifically, which is video gamers are the cursingest people in the world.
Yeah.
They're more quickly flagged than, for example, our podcast had lots of episodes on YouTube began with cursing, and it was fine. Linus of Linus Tech Tips did an experiment where in a live broadcast, he cursed in the first 15 seconds like crazy. Nothing happened to him. So...
Yeah.
Wow. I had no idea.
Yeah, it's just whatever YouTube feels like.
Yeah.
Because they're in control.
Based off of whatever they feel their advertisers
now it's been
like
a minute, so you can say shit and fuck and all that stuff.
Oh, thank God. We have someone here.
If you're a new listener, we should say before anything.
Yes.
If you're an old listener, a friend, welcome back, buddy, pal. If you're a new listener and you're easily offended, man, thank you, but no thanks. This is not for you. May your ship not sink over the night. I don't know, dude. Look, this is not for you. It's fine. Not every podcast is for everybody, dude. You know, I don't listen to the Joe Rogan podcast because it's not for me.
You're not a Joe Rogan fan? No?
Yeah, I'm not a Joe Roganite.
Roganite.
I was about to say Roganite.
Yeah.
Roganian.
Roganian. Yeah. Well, you think like when the Joe Rogan fans protest something, they throw Rogaine at things? Fuck you.
No, they throw like muscle
they
pills.
They throw like elk meat or whatever exotic meat he's eating.
Oh, kettlebells. The kettlebells will do some damage. The ones they throw, that'll do some damage.
But hey, it's fine. It's okay, dude. But if you were hate listening, thank you for hate listening. We do appreciate that, and thank you for your comments and stuff. Either way, if you write a good comment, bad comment, you took the time out of your day, even if it's a shitty comment. It doesn't matter. Thank you. Yeah. And that being said, Sarah, what did you want to say?
I forgot now.
Well, Scott's here. That's what you were going to say.
Scott, you're so forgettable. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Just kidding. You're not forgettable.
Let's start by just shitting on our guests.
I literally was like, what was I going to say? I have
That's
no idea.
That's what the company that just laid me off said.
No.
They were like, who's this Scott guy? Gone.
Wow. Let's start off just salty and sad.
You know what?
Newbie
It's
Star
our
Trek.
favorite Scott. He's one of our favorite guests. One of my favorite people on the planet.
Welcome back, Scott.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Scott wanted to come back specifically for In Theory. Yeah.
Scott, you creep. You creeper.
I have noticed a running theme in the episodes is fake relationships and fantasizing about
is
love.
Is this a Freudian thing about this? Is there something you want to tell us, Scott?
It wasn't creepy, though. It's like an attempt, you know? I wouldn't call it creepy. It's like...
I think it's creepy.
Depends on your perspective.
I think it's like two different-minded individuals trying to explore if they can love each other, you know?
Yeah.
Like... I don't know.
Yeah, it's sort of the opposite spectrum of the Hollow Pursuits, where Barclay was creating these fantasies, whereas Data's just running a program to see how it works, and there's no emotion, quote unquote.
Yeah. I mean, Data spent Barclay just did shit. Data spent like 10 minutes asking people if he should do something.
Yeah.
You know, like it's a very different mindset.
Oh my God. Yeah, we need to talk about that montage. It was awesome.
Well, In Theory, June 3rd, 1991. That's when the episode aired for In Theory. Dan, let's do it. Let's zoom around the sun so you could tell us what happened around that date.
All right, so not a whole lot going on. Backdraft was still hot, and the one movie that released at that time was actually, there was one notable movie that I thought was worth bringing up because it's somewhat relevant. It was called Soap Dish, which is a comedy about the behind-the-scenes drama of a soap opera. It had a bunch of recognizable names despite not being very well remembered these days. Among them were Sally Field, Kevin Kline, whom people mostly know as Mr. Fischoeder from Bob's Burgers now.
Okay.
Robert Downey Jr., before all of his troubles, Terry Hatcher, Elizabeth Shue, Kathy Najimy, aka Peggy Hill, Carrie Fisher, and even Whoopi Goldberg herself.
Wow, that's a lot of...
Yeah, it's a lot of random recognizable people, right?
I do want to say anything pre-Iron Man is considered Robert Downey's
bad times.
Yeah. What are you talking about? He had an excellent stint on Ally McBeal.
When he was high as shit.
Okay, true. He wasn't getting caught for being so high just yet.
Yes.
It was a few years before that would start happening.
Since he was like 10, 12, he was...
Yeah, I think he said 8 years old or something, actually.
Holy shit. It started when he was 8? Oh my God.
It's because his dad was really into substances.
Cocaine.
Yeah.
Okay.
And as an extension of this movie tidbit, as recently as January 10th of last year, a TV series adaptation of Soap Dish was announced to be in development for Paramount Plus, with Whoopi Goldberg attached to reprise her role as Rose Schwartz, the fictional soap opera's head writer.
Okay.
So, just kind of weird. Also, this episode kind of reminds me a bit of like soap opera-y stuff. So, there you go.
Yeah, for sure.
He definitely watched some soap opera stuff for like reference material for his subroutine.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Actually, yeah. Definitely. Mariah Carey was back on top of the charts with a song called I Don't Want to Cry, which honestly I can't remember so well, but a lot of people do.
I don't.
And finally, on the 30th of May, the Supreme Court ruled that prosecutors can be sued for legal advice that they give police and can be held accountable for it.
Oh, huh.
Just an interesting little tidbit.
I guess they are not supposed to technically directly collaborate that way, huh?
I guess so. Mm-hmm.
I guess really they're supposed to get legal advice from their union rep or something like that. Probably not from prosecutors, because then you could like do weird stuff together.
Yeah. To be honest, I didn't look far enough into it to understand all the intricacies of what they could be sued for exactly, but it was interesting to note. So look into it if you were interested.
Yeah,
and that concludes our trip
around the sun. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you for taking us around the sun.
Thank you, Dan.
All right.
You're welcome. You usually don't thank me this much about it.
You did great.
Well, we appreciate you. You're doing great.
We should thank you more often. Thank you, Dan.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You don't get a raise, but you get a pizza card. And lots of our appreciation.
Fantastic.
We won't dock your pay because you didn't fuck up your line in in a failed take, wasted time.
Oh, that's great.
The Last of Us.
Pedro Pascal should be paid nothing.
You know what, guys? I have a confession.
No.
You have a crush on Pedro Pascal.
Isn't that a Will Smith movie? What song? Just
No,
the Last of Us.
Just the two.
I like that better.
I do like that.
So I'm going to be honest. I had no idea who Pedro Pascal was before The Last of Us. And I know he was the Mandalorian, but I didn't really know that. Like, I didn't know who he was or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched The Last of Us. And then, I started seeing all these like fan supercuts of people online of just like, making little sexy montages of him. And yeah, I definitely have a crush on Pedro Pascal.
Well,
yeah.
For a while, I thought Pedro Pascal was a guy who always looks like he's coming for an unauthorized bite of your sandwich.
What?
He always looks like he's coming for it, man. He's like, oh man, I'm gonna get that sandwich.
It's
like,
funny
look at that.
I don't know. He's great. Like,
it's funny because that stupid TikTok template is of him eating a sandwich.
Oh my god, I love that template of the one where he's like crunching the sandwich, and it's just, oh my god, I love that meme, that little template. But have you guys seen, like, honestly, his Mando voice? Like, he does like a sexy bedroom voice for his Mando voice, and people have done like all these cuts of him like saying all these lines, and it's hot. And I think he says he watches them. He knows people think it's hot. So
did you see him in Game of Thrones?
No, I've never watched Game of Thrones.
You should watch the episode where he fights the mountain. It's pretty awesome.
Oh,
is he
I know what happens in that scene.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. No spoilers.
In
a way.
Okay. I'll take it.
Wait, like,
in a way he is exposed.
So how did you just discover him?
I don't know. I guess I just
from The Last of Us.
He wasn't in my radar. Yeah,
but
from The Last of Us.
You don't watch like pop culture stuff?
I mean,
no,
he just wasn't someone that was like in my head. And I told Marvin,
are you telling me you've never seen The Great Wall with Matt Damon?
No, I've never seen
I haven't either.
Me neither.
Oh my god, guys!
Yeah.
And I don't watch Game of Thrones.
I've seen the episode of NYPD Blue where he showed up. And
have you guys seen Narcos? Narcos Mexico?
Oh yeah, Narcos.
I watched a little bit of it, but not the whole thing. Yeah.
I mean, he's a lead in that.
I know, but he's
seen a gif of him breaking down crying.
Well, here's the thing, guys. He's like, I don't know how to describe this, but you know how you have someone in your life that you've seen over and over and over and over again, and you don't think of them that way, and then something happens. And then you see them differently all of a sudden. And then you're like, I didn't know what I had in front of me.
Sarah,
like,
you don't deserve him.
You had your chance, Sarah.
You had your chance.
He was there this whole time.
He's moved on long ago.
He's moved on, dude. He's moved on. You don't deserve him.
That's what I think it is. Is like, I didn't realize.
Too good for you.
I didn't realize how hot he was. And then I started doing research and I was like, wait.
So do you think it's hot? He's hot because everyone else thinks he's hot now?
Yeah.
No, I think
you didn't notice him when he was on his own.
You're goddamn.
I didn't really pay attention.
You're a bandwagon crusher.
You're a goddamn Patriots fan, dude.
Maybe.
Get wrecked.
I mean, okay. Is he not? Is he okay, Scott? I want to ask you.
Scott is not a Patriots fan. He's a 49ers fan.
Goddamn right.
You watched The Mandalorian. Is he not? Isn't
he's barely in it?
Sexy. I know, but his voice.
You saw his face once.
He's in the show
when he was eating, and
he's probably rarely in the suit. Like,
no, he's hardly. The only time he's in the suit is when he takes off the mask, and then
it's someone else.
He's essentially a cartoon voiceover actor.
I know,
for
but
the
isn't his voice sexy?
No. Not to me. Why would you think I would say that?
I think it's pretty.
I'm a heterosexual male.
It doesn't mean that you can't find something sexy. I mean, I can sit here and see a picture of whatever and think it's sexy. You know, it doesn't make you. You know.
I've just never heard it, so I can't make a call on that.
Oh, Dan, get ready for me to send you the cuts.
Oh boy,
don't accept any
fan cuts.
Don't let her do that.
You'll have to snooze Sarah for a month.
I've been sending them to Selena and Amanda like crazy. I've been like, oh, look at this cut.
She's like, look. The Patriots. I just didn't notice it. Like they were just a good fucking team, man. Like, I'm gonna send you some fucking highlights.
Have you heard of this like Tom Brady guy?
Yeah, Tom Brady's fucking great. Turns out he's fucking great.
I don't know. I mean, he's got this like appeal to him.
Did you know one of their tight ends murdered somebody?
Yeah.
Did you know, like, back in, like, the 90s, there was this basketball player named Michael Jordan, and he was just destroying teams left and right.
He's I think he has shoes out. I think I'm going to get him.
Yeah.
I think
they're kind of cool.
Yeah.
Nobody wears them anymore.
Yeah. And then he started directing movies. Wait.
Well, I wasn't going to watch Last of Us, and then I got over my PTSD. I kind of tabled it to try to push through.
Yeah. For context, Sarah, in the first episode of Last of Us, was super scared of it because she was like, this is like a heightened version of COVID. So
I was like, and you know what? I like mushrooms, and seeing this Last of Us.
You like to eat mushrooms.
Yes. I like to eat mushrooms, and seeing this was definitely not making mushrooms look appetizing.
I don't know. Some of those mushroom men look kind of tasty, you know.
He was even like in like shitty movies like Wonder Woman 2.
Oh yeah, that's true. Oh my god, he is so bad in that movie. Actually,
yeah.
I mean, everyone is.
That's true. It's
again,
like no one can do well in that movie.
I didn't see him.
He was in Kingsman.
Now.
He was one of the dudes in Kingsman.
Oh, yeah. I guess so. Yeah.
Now that I think about him, I'm like, oh, he's everywhere, and I just never saw him until now.
He's also in that Nick Cage movie, which is pretty awesome.
People who love, you know,
yeah.
How often is he without his mustache or any facial hair whatsoever?
He was when he was younger in NYPD Blue. When he had a bit part in one episode, he was like playing like this guy with tats and a leather jacket with no mustache.
There's a Netflix movie that is kind of a sleeper and no one saw it, and I think it's a really fun actiony movie. It's called Triple Frontier.
Oh, I've heard of it.
Pedro Pascal in it.
Well, yeah, it's got like 3 of the Headlums in it. It's got Garrett Hedlund and Charlie Hunnam, who are basically the same person but from different parts of the world. And then it's got Pedro Pascal, Ben Affleck, and Oscar Isaac.
Oh wow!
And it's like it's imagine like it's like Rainbow Six, like a Tom Clancy video game, basically come to life.
Oh. So wait, you said Pedro Pascal, Oscar Isaac, and who was the other? Those are the names that instantly in my mind go.
Ben Affleck, Oscar Isaac, Charlie Hunnam.
Ben Affleck, I'm like, he's fine. But
Charlie Hunnam, Garrett Hedlund.
Oscar Isaac, I fucking love Oscar Isaac. He's fantastic.
It's basically all of them like pulling like a military heist kind of thing.
Okay.
Oh, I'll have to watch
It's a fun movie, and like they're all great in it, and I can't believe
check it out.
I will definitely check that out. But yeah, that's my Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. Newbie Pedro Pascal, everybody.
Thanks for listening.
Well,
I just feel bad that I've slept. I've slept on him. I've slept on him for sure.
It's fine.
And I'm sorry, Marvin. You have to hear all this, but it's okay. I already told you. I already been showing you.
He's just tired that he has to hear it now. When he was going through it himself.
Yeah, it's like this is all old.
2 years ago.
This is old.
Yeah. We all discovered how hot he was years ago, Sarah.
Yeah. See, the reason Scott doesn't find his voice sexy is because he got over him already, like 3 years ago.
Okay.
I've already forgotten. I moved on.
Yeah. Now he's into Justin Bieber again.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, timeless, cyclical.
Yeah.
It comes around in a circle. So then in 10 years, I'll probably be into Pedro Pascal again.
Yeah.
Yum.
Like vintage wine.
Vintage.
You know?
Yeah. Like old man
Logan.
Old man
this is usually the section where we would talk about sponsors, but I just want to start off real quick because this is kind of a sponsory thing. We got these wristbands.
Look, I do not condone these wristbands because I haven't put one on my wrist myself.
Well, so I was about to explain why.
Look, I'm just saying. I want to tell everybody on the goddamn podcast. You guys know I don't fucking lie to anybody. I use ExpressVPN. I use a wallet. These watch bands. Ricardo they have not touched my skin. I cannot vouch for them. I don't know how
I can give you mine. I'll give you mine.
Well, the reason why they haven't touched Ricardo's skin is because Moby Fox shipped them to us. So I was like, okay, I got them. When we meet up with Ricardo at WonderCon, I will hand them to him. And then I just started walking around And
you kept on taking off your jacket.
I kept on taking off my jacket. And
why? Why would somebody do that? Put it on, take it off?
No.
It fucking fell out of my jacket.
So somebody is walking around with one of these.
Yeah, one of these Star Trek TNG Moby Fox smartphone wristbands. Yeah. Also,
Moby Fox, is Moby Fox the same guy who made Mundertale?
You have to be a certain fan group to connect.
I mean, you just gotta know some video games as well.
But yeah, let's burn through these sponsors real quick, because we have sponsors who we didn't let down by losing their merchandise.
We didn't fucking lose our VPN.
Yeah, we didn't lose ExpressVPN. I can't lose it. Yeah,
it's always with me.
It's digital. It's always with you.
I keep my jacket on.
I can't believe that. That wouldn't have happened if I was there. Because
it wouldn't have. No, it wouldn't have.
Don't do that.
Legitimately, had a bag.
It's legitimately because it was me that was lost.
You need your man purse. God damn it, Marvin.
Well, listen. You know what won't let you down? ExpressVPN, because ExpressVPN won't drop your level of security when you're going through the internet. It's like you're not raw dogging the internet when you put ExpressVPN on, because you know what happens? It gives you an IP address that hides you guys from your ISPs, so they can't snoop on what you're doing, take your data, and do all this stuff with your data that you didn't want them to do. That's ExpressVPN. And like the name would suggest, they're actually super fast, because they actually have really good 500 megabits up and down, works at 3,000 plus servers in 160 locations spanning 94 countries, works on pretty much every device you can think of, because there's apps all over. And it actually works correctly with Netflix and other streaming services. So if you head on over to expressvpn.com/newbiestartrek right now, and you sign up for 12 months, they're going to give you an extra 3 months for free, which makes the whole package 49% off. So, and if you for some reason were like, yeah, I don't want to do ExpressVPN because, life's more fun being on the internet dangerously, you could just try it out for 30 days. If you don't like it, it's a 30-day money-back guarantee. So no risk at all. Again, expressvpn.com/newbiestartrek. And if you sign up for 12 months, they'll give you 3 months for free, which makes the whole thing 49% off. Also,
that ain't bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Pretty good.
Yeah. We have Ekster as well. EKSTER, for anyone wondering, because I know it's kind of a weird name, but they make nice wallets, and that's why I wanted to pursue them as a sponsor for the podcast, because I had one of their wallets for, at this point, over 2 years. It's pretty good.
Looks brand new still.
Yeah, it's actually in really good shape. And it's, it's a nice one of those nice super slim wallet designs, but their claim to fame that they have a quick card access button, so that these cards just pop right out, so you can have access to them really quickly in a cool way. They're made of high quality materials.
In a cool way.
Oh, it looks cool.
I mean, as cool as a wallet can be.
I know, yeah.
Cool a wallet, or how cool can a wallet get?
Well, you get
I don't know if you
cool.
get the solid gold one. I think that's
I know.
Pretty.
If you it has some pretty cool materials, like I was about to say. You're right, solid gold. If you really wanted that for some reason, or just regular materials like Italian leather, or they have a pure aluminum one if you like the look of having a metal wallet. Or
do they have transparent aluminum?
Oh, that'd be sick. We were just talking about that today. That'd be really cool if they had a bulletproof wallet.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess nowadays that could come in handy. Yeah.
Ugh.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. No, the plates.
It's never a good time anymore.
No. And and it has RFID blocking plates inside it, so that no one can walk by and swipe your credit card information like that. And if you want, there's an optional tracker, so you can make sure that, hey, where did I leave my wallet in the house? I don't know where it is. You can just turn on your tracker, look for it, bam, it's right there. So again, you can head on over to shop.ekster.com/newbie, or just head on over to ekster.com and use the offer code newbie for up to 25% off additionally any order site-wide. So that means this offer actually stacks with any ongoing sales they have. So if they already have a 20% off sale, you can get up to another 25% off based on what you're getting. Just a lot off. I'm actually kind of surprised how much they...
It's pretty good for the recession we're entering.
We've been
discounts. But you know what? If you're gonna have no money in your wallet, at least have like a cool wallet, right?
Yeah. Very good. Very good.
Spend all the money in your current wallet to obtain a new wallet.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And then, free returns within 45 days of receiving your order and free shipping on any order of $50 or more. And they have other things besides wallets. They have like carrying cases for your suit. They have like, I actually kind of want it. They have a day bag, like a weekend bag.
Wait, if you brought your day bag to WonderCon, you wouldn't have lost Ricardo's fucking watch thing.
That would have been my fault, but again, head on over to shop.
Had your man purse with you.
shop.exter.com/newbie and use the offer code newbie when you check out for up to 25% off. Additionally, any order site-wide. All right, let's figure out what Denise wants to ask Ricardo today.
Ricardo, could you please tell us what happened in this episode?
Yes, I can, Denise. Calm down. Don't yell at me. This was a very interesting episode.
It is interesting. Yeah.
A couple things off the top of my head. One is that it seems like that's the MO for the Enterprise is like, oh, interesting. We've encountered this thing. Let's shoot a torpedo at it.
And then go inside it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They shoot things all the time. They shoot these photon torpedoes at dying planets, at dying suns, at
nebulas,
and if it bleeds, we're gonna shoot a torpedo into
baby
it.
Raviolis. And,
yeah.
Mother raviolis.
Yeah.
Well, I think they only phasered that
Spaghettis. Any marinara sauces, boom. Send it in there.
But
this, it's weird.
Do you think the Federation has a thing against Italians?
I think so.
We've never met an Italian yet. Right? We've met a French person.
We've met Irish people.
Yeah. We've met Irish.
The Irish people.
That's crazy.
Did the Italians survive World War III? We don't know.
And then Data had the best line ever, which is, I received a very passionate kiss in the torpedo bay. And I wanted Kaylin to go, yeah, but where were you guys when she kissed?
Oh my god!
Yeah,
but where did that happen? Oh,
the way he phrased that was like the best thing ever, and worth this episode.
Spiner was great in this episode.
I like half of this episode a lot, and the other half.
Which half do you not like? I'm wondering.
The ravioli part.
Yeah.
Ravioli part.
Yeah, well, there's a good reason for that. It's because they actually wrote it was Ronald D. Moore and I always forget the name of the other guy.
Don't fucking tell me this was a separate episode. They tried to Frankenstein
Joe Menosky. So they wrote the episode together. It's the first time collaborating, actually. And they're like, oh yeah, we have this really fun idea. Ronald D. Moore in particular was looking back at old documents and stuff. And he realized for the original series, lots of women sent like fan letters about Spock and how much they love Spock and how much
everyone had a huge ass crush on Spock.
Yeah, because he was like, people legitimately were way more into Spock than they were like any other character.
Sarah, don't watch the original series because then you're gonna be like, there's this guy. His name is Leonard Nimoy. And
have you guys heard of Leonard Nimoy?
He's kind of hot. He's really fucking sexy.
Like he's emotionally unavailable, and I really think I can get through to him.
Yes, that's right, Dan. I can change him.
Yeah.
So that was why they wrote the episode.
Is Spock Data equivalent? I don't know.
No, he's a Vulcan. Is. So
he's the closest thing.
Yeah. I just know he has like a
half Vulcan, right? Scottish.
He has the ears. He has the ears, right?
Yes. The Vulcan ears. Yes.
Yeah, and he looks like he got like a really crazy facelift.
Yes, he's a teen wolf.
It's like really like
yeah, so they that's why they wrote the story, but then I guess for some reason they were like, this won't last the whole episode. So I like what they said very specifically. They couldn't have worded it any better. we had to come up with some stupid space anomaly that the Enterprise had to be battling at the same time. It was annoying storytelling, but that was built into the structure of that show. While you were downstairs with Data, you always kind of wondered what the ship would be doing.
No, they didn't have to
really
go through
wonder
something
that
like
hard.
this.
No, I don't wonder at all. Like,
yeah, there's really no need, honestly.
So I think personally, like, it's so disconnected, right? Like, they don't even really interact at all as in terms of story.
Yeah, I think that if they just would have given this thing 100%, they could have saved money on any special effects.
That's true.
Literally could have been a Data episode where it's just him not only dealing with a relationship, but also dealing with... Here's one thing that I would like them to deal with.
Okay.
Data doesn't sleep, right?
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah.
He's a robot. Right. So I'd like to see him... They could have used perfect timing to be like, we're going to show you the goddamn night crew. The night crew that is on duty when the captain is sleeping and when Riker's sleeping.
They like alluded to the night crew during Data's day, but they didn't really like talk to them or anything. Yeah. They just showed that there is
a night crew, and that was
yeah.
They could have done this, and we would have been like, "Whoa, that's a dude." Because look, when my father-in-law was an airline pilot. He's retired now. Mm-hmm. And when they would fly over to like Sydney or, long flights, they would have two different crews, right? Mm-hmm. So, and it would have, two different captains. So I would have loved to have seen Data like deal with the night crew captain, Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I don't know.
That would have been cool. Such a thing.
There should be.
I mean, would that have been when... Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Scott.
Well, I was going to say, in Data's day, it essentially shows that Data takes command of the night shift.
He is the night captain.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Does he say, "I am the captain now"?
He should.
In a deleted scene, I think they have that.
he yells at Tom Hanks. He's like, look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
Yeah.
Open up a subspace connection to Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that overnight it would have been cool because they said Data was reading all these books on love, like Shakespeare and blah, 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 or like whatever he was reading. And I thought when everyone was sleeping was when he was like studying this.
Yeah, if they had like not had the B plot and then they had Data the whole thing, they probably would have had scenes like that where they would have delved into like.
Or because at the end they say, Data says, "Oh, I'm going to delete this program." Basically, it didn't work, right? Yeah. Which is cold-blooded on his part towards her. Like
it does feel cold to a human watching the show.
Hey, you idiot! I'm gonna delete this program because I don't even want to remember you.
Jeez. Yeah, I was pretty fucked up.
It was cold-blooded and it was awesome. But I wish that they would have shown like him running simulations on the holodeck.
That would be fun.
Or like running through. Yeah.
Like, honey, I'm home. Like all that stuff that he was doing with his girlfriend, if he would have ran through simulations.
He's doing like Nathan Fielder's The Rehearsal. But
my God.
Well,
that is the perfect comparison. Again, please email us like you guys did last week. Keep the emails coming if you know The Rehearsal.
Oh, The Rehearsal.
Let us know.
That was an HBO show. Like it was very, very well.
I will say I will take this moment to thank everyone who emailed Goat in the Water. I really appreciated it, and it really made my day. It really made my day that you knew Goat in the Water.
Sarah would actually like interrupt while I'm doing anything. She goes, "Marvin, someone emailed us Goat in the Water."
Go in the water.
And I was like, okay.
It's like you all understood exactly. You all understood the assignment perfectly. A bunch of people emailed Goat in the Water. It was great.
Someone else emailed us Goat in the Water.
Thank you.
Okay. Cool.
And then you know what I did? I looked up the Goat in the Water video and I enjoyed it one more time, and I loved it. It's great.
I would have expected you to look it up and enjoy it like repeatedly every time you got an email. And you read it.
Goat in the Water.
You've been emailed. We got to look at it again.
Scott, you've seen Goat in the Water.
I don't. And after I listened to that episode, I was like, I better figure this out before you bring it up to me.
Every week I tell myself the same thing, and I'm still there.
Are you fucking serious?
No,
don't.
Sarah's literally doing the Italian, like, what the fuck gesture at me over the camera.
I want you to never learn. I just want you.
At this point, I can't. It's a bit now. I can't learn it.
Aren't you confused? Aren't you wondering, Goat in the Water? What's going on? Like, what is that?
All I know is that it must have something to do with Nathan. That's it.
Anyway,
that's
back
all
to
I
what
know,
we were
and that's
saying.
all I need to know. But you know what? I did want to point out that Data has precedent for going into the holodeck to like learn more about human whatever because of the comedian thing.
It's the worst one. Yeah, I hate.
Yeah, he
that.
tried to learn about comedy once. Why not try to learn about romance?
Yeah, you know, it would have been a good way to tie in the.
He should have been playing dating sims.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
or the dating game. I thought a good
Computer,
way to tie
load up Tokimeki Memorial.
Oh, Jesus.
Load up vintage 80s romantic
90s. It was Super Famicom.
Oh, it was 90s. You're right. Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, boy.
What were you saying, Scott?
No, I was thinking if you made her be like integral to the solution of like make her like the shuttle co-pilot or make her a shuttle pilot that, you know, where Picard has to like step in and do this weird thing where at least if you make her as part of the solution of the B story could give Data some investment on how she's doing. Or her being nervous about it and him having to like to coach her through something or
maybe that's when she learns that he actually isn't going to emotionally support her through this.
Yeah, he's just going to tell her how to do the mission. He's not going to be comforting in any way. He's just going to say, no, you need to do this, this, and this, you know, get from A to Z and be that way. And she's going to go, God, she'd realize I'm just another part of him being Data rather than being an actually connected relationship. That would have been a cool way for, at least in rewatching this after having seen it so many times,
so I just get
her involved.
Like, I know it's a little ahead, but maybe you know, Scott, why did Picard so insistently ask to be in the shuttlecraft?
Because he was so uncomfortable having to give fucking Data love advice that he's like, I'd rather die.
Yeah, he's get me off the ship.
Yeah.
Riker is the best pilot on the ship, right?
Yeah.
I was confused by that.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, it comes up in 30 years.
Movie?
What?
That's interesting.
Wait, no, the movies. Well, no, the movies.
No spoilers.
Shortly after. Oh,
like this scene specifically, or why? Why Picard would go to the shuttlecraft?
They always they touch back in future. I mean, this is not even spoiler stuff because it's like you bring it up now, it'll never be thought of again. But they touch back to certain things that characters do during the show in later iterations, where they go, "Oh, remember that one time they did that one thing? It's going to work here now perfectly." So it's that type of It's like a callback to something that they do. So, but obviously, when they wrote this, there was no reason for them to do that other than to give Patrick Stewart something to do.
Is it because he was directing and he was like, "Oh, I want to"?
Oh, did he direct this episode?
Yeah, this is directing. I forgot to mention this is Patrick Stewart's directing debut.
Yeah. Oh, that's probably why, because he's noticeably really not in this episode a lot.
That's true. Actually, he's a little like it was kind of like the way when Jonathan Frakes first showed up as a director. You didn't really you didn't see him very much. It was the LOL episode actually. Yeah, that's what it was.
The Offspring.
Yeah. So
okay. So this episode is about this girl. Her name is like Leanne or something, and she's working with Data, and basically Data has been friend zoned for a while she has her boyfriend problems, and then she keeps going back to him, and then finally Data's like, dude, you told me to tell you when you're going back. This guy's an idiot. He's
Stop
a fuck
rebounding.
boy.
Here's why.
He's a fuck boy. This is why he's a fuck boy. But he wasn't doing like the typical like friend zone thing where like, oh, the friend really loves her, so he's gonna like try to break her up. He was just literally.
Your definition of friend zone is kind of foreign to me, to be honest.
Well,
because it isn't. I think this is less friend zone, and this is actually like actual friend, where the friend.
This is like, I don't know. It's more like she set an alarm.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say.
It is. Yeah. He's a literal machine.
It's like, hey, when I'm rebounding, please remind me of all the shit that I told you about.
And he annoyingly reminded her, and then he like
it's like telling Alexa to be like, hey, when you I'm feeling bad, play this thing to remind me.
Yeah,
play Elliot Smith when I'm play Elliot Smith when I'm depressed.
So sad.
That'll help.
Yeah, the Rude Sandstorm.
Yeah, that'll really push me over the edge. And so basically she sees like, oh, he listens. She confuses him. She confuses a lot of this stuff that Data does.
Yes.
And it just shows you how guys are pieces of shit and always have been, and probably always will be. Look, we can't change, dude. Look, she this proves one of my points, and I'll get to it right now. But basically, she's like, oh, he's really listening because like he pointed this out, and like he reminded me of this, and she kind of falls in love with him just because he's a good reminder app on fucking the iPhone.
Yeah. He's a very good Chat GPT. And she's falling in love.
Exactly. I kept on thinking that the whole time I was watching the episode. It's like, this is, she's using him like a chatbot.
Yes, kind of.
I mean, that already exists to this day. I mean,
they are already
very sophisticated now. And, you know, they do exactly what Data's been doing or does in this episode.
Developers are already making dating sim plugins using ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So it is a thing.
And she, look, I don't want to overanalyze this or get into a weird conversation, but tell me if I'm wrong, Sarah.
I can start you on, Ricardo.
Okay. Don't you feel like when people get together sometimes, like the woman sees the man for the person he could be? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the guy's like, this is how I am. I'm never going to fucking change. And the guy never sees the woman for who she could be. She just sees her for who she is.
Also, I think this is a testament to like how low the fucking bar is for men to clear, to just like treat women like human beings and listen to them and, you know, be emotional, you know, have some kind of emotional reaction. I mean, the bar is so low for her.
But you're also
the fact that Data's just like treating her like a nice human being.
To be fair, every human's a piece of shit. I want to be clear.
Correct.
I don't want to insult dudes here.
Right.
Everyone's a piece of shit. Women, male, female, trans, no matter what creed or religion you are, you're a piece of shit. If you're human, you're a piece of shit. Just letting it be clear.
I agree, but is there a degree of shit? Like diarrhea versus like
everybody's a piece of shit.
Okay. All right. Everyone's
you're born
diarrhea.
not a piece of shit. You're born with a clear slate. But then your parents instill all this shitness that they have onto you.
I don't know. Babies are kind of shitty.
Well, they're just like drunk people though. But anyway, she sees him like, oh, this is really cool that he like knows all these things and he listens. And the thing is that like he listens to a fault. And like they fall
his job.
Like, whatever they end up becoming like boyfriend girlfriend, but like and she tries to accept the fact that like, hey, I get like that he's a robot and he may not have the emotions I have in the way I have them. But I think even after this, I think the Data does have emotions.
Yep.
It's just that they're behind the wall of a processor or a processor, if you're in a different part of the world, that they're very logical. I would say Data is like Spock because he's very logical, like probably more logical than Spock because he is a computer.
Yeah, he would be. Yeah.
I have a question for the group though. So has anyone
I would have erased the programming. Yes.
Has anyone had any experience with this where like you guys as guys have, you know, been there for, you know, have been in Data's position and have then maybe it didn't go as far as becoming a girlfriend, boyfriend situation, but, you know, you did have to like, you were kind of like, I guess, friend zoned, but you know, like, how did that work out for you? We'll start with Scott.
Well, thanks, because I was ready to answer. Gosh, when was it? It was back in just like post high school.
When did you already know about Pedro Pascal at this point?
No, I had
I'd only
heard people. Yeah, I'd only heard people talk about the sound of his voice,
rumblings.
Yes. No, where I was, you know, in a group of friends and whatnot, and I was very close friends with the girl, and she was going through difficult times with who she was dating, her boyfriend. And so I was like the shoulder to cry on, and we talked, you know, and do all that kind of thing. Then she eventually breaks up with him. Then we start dating, and that only lasts for like a couple of weeks because it was like this just doesn't feel right. I don't feel that connection to you. Basically a rebound, and then she went and got back with him. They eventually got married and had kids and moved to a different part of the country.
How does it make you feel?
I don't care. I mean,
well, how long were you together?
A very short time. Like I say, it was a very short time, and I was actually friends with him. And it was more of a situation where he's like, "Wow, man, I feel kind of like really betrayed and hurt that you started dating her when we're friends." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, I'm friends with both of you."
So you didn't keep the bro code. You just
no. I mean, I
broke it.
Scott, let me ask you a question. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
Was the seed planted a long time before that? That you were like, I'm just going to hang out and coast it until I hook up with her.
I was not friends with her with the intention of trying to do that. It sort of grew into something where it was like, oh, I feel like we're just like really good friends, and now she's free. She broke up with him, so let's
flourished because of the emotional vulnerability, and she kind of like in this case, she
it was so long ago, I don't even remember.
Found or you can think of this theoretically, like I mean, I guess that's the definition of a rebound is like people you are there for that person, and through just listening and talking and being the shoulder to cry on, you become intimate and like emotionally, sometimes physically.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the thing, but I don't know. Has it happened to anyone else in this group or?
It's a common story.
I mean, I have an example, but I don't know if you'd want me to talk about it.
Now we need to hear it, bro.
You're my rebound. You weren't a rebound now.
But that's the thing.
I told you. I kept telling you weren't a rebounder. You kept thinking you were, and I said,
that's the
no,
thing.
I'm not.
Remember how I was like, okay,
yeah, me and Marvin's relationship very much started.
Let's wait like a year.
Are you guys still are you guys still rebounding?
We're still rebounding.
Because I wanted to make sure that like she's not just like, oh, I need to find someone else really quick.
But if the girl tells you, like if in Scott's story, the girl said to you, "You are not a rebound. I understand your concerns, but
she was a rebound for him. They broke up."
No, but like
essentially,
you're not a rebound in the way like I'm not going to use you and toss you away. Like a
rebound isn't. Most rebounds aren't intentional. Like most rebounds,
I feel like a rebound is kind of what Scott's describing. That's what I think a rebound.
But they didn't do it. She didn't intentionally go, "I'm going to use him and break up with him."
Yeah,
it was more of like a situation.
No, she had an emotional and physical void to fill, and Scott was there.
Who's to say you didn't at that moment?
I did, but I kept saying I didn't. That was the thing.
But you can't be totally sure. That's the thing.
It's impossible to call ahead of time how things would work out. I don't know if I would trust my own feelings on that sort of thing.
I trusted my feelings. It wasn't a rebound.
That's the thing. Don't trust your own feelings. That you should never trust your own feelings.
Don't trust your gut.
No, not all the time. You shouldn't always trust your gut.
Marvin, were you friends with Sarah's ex?
Yes. We're
like
very close friends.
Yeah, we're actually all good friends. Yeah.
Very
still
close
to this
friends.
day?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I won't say his name because I don't want to dox him, but yeah, he even when
you didn't say his name.
Tim. Goddamn Tim.
Him. He's all over the fucking internet.
Well, that doesn't mean
they were. No, okay, we were a close friend group.
Yeah,
all of us.
Like he was like we would hang out all the time, and like I would like I remember there was one time where he would do this where basically Sarah and I went to CalArts.
Did you call him a doofus?
No. We said we would do this. I did
hear the word doofus.
I swore
I did
a lot
too.
My words. So we both went to CalArts, Sarah and I, and he went with her. And randomly one day he just walked into my room because the door was open and no one else was in the dorm. And then he just walked in and was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Well, I'm watching Mythbusters. Who are you?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm Sarah's boyfriend." Blah blah. And I was like, "Oh, cool."
He punched you?
No, and then we were like, "Okay, well, I'm watching Mythbusters. Do you want to watch it with me?" And we both sat on my bed watching Mythbusters for like 2 hours. And we would hang out all the time. He's the person that made me not like Del Taco. Because one time after he did a favor for me, I was like, "Oh, I'll
deep ass lore.
I'll take you out for lunch. Where do you want to go? I'll take you anywhere." And he said Del Taco. Yeah. So we went to Del Taco and I got really sick. And then he was like, "Oh yeah, that was a mistake. We shouldn't go to Del Taco again." So,
oh my God, I had no idea that happened. That's
so that's actually what happened.
We're all close friends. We're all still very much friends. And
yeah, he's a really cool guy.
He's like that was a test you failed. You never go to Del Taco.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, what about you guys? Any of you guys have any experience of being a rebound and, just
I've not necessarily as a rebound,
or an emotional
but
crutch of some kind?
I do feel like I have been in Data's position before where just by virtue of being around to listen and provide an ear and, level-headed input at times, like people have developed like feelings and affections for me that I would later learn about long after the time has passed and things like that. So that I can attest to.
That, I mean, you are a good listener, and I think that goes a long way.
Sorry, what would you say?
Shut the fuck up, Dan. What about you, Ricardo?
Yeah, sure. I've been rebounding a few times, but then I don't follow through because I don't like that shit. I don't want that baggage, I also have a weird thing where I'm an asshole and I'm a piece of shit, but I had a rule where I would never date friends' exes.
Oh, okay.
And I know for the most part, like 85% of the people I know have done that. And I don't judge anybody. I'm just saying, like, that was one of my personal rules.
It's a personal.
It's kind of like saying it's hard even having a saying, but like how some people are like say don't shit where you eat or something like that.
Yeah,
that was kind of like my thing.
There is potential for a lot of complication by that happening.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, I felt weird about it. Like when me and Marvin, because my ex and Marvin and I were such a close friend group, I definitely delayed telling my ex that we were together because I felt like bad, I guess, or felt like weird about it.
Yeah, but he was also the type of guy who would, knowing him, he would
it's
never
just kind of like what Ricardo is talking about.
Yeah.
Like I felt like, oh, this is a little too like close to home, and
I mean, he was my roommate for a while too. Remember?
Yeah, I know. So. I just felt like I felt like strange about it.
I forgot what I was going to say.
Which makes sense.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I totally fucked you.
You don't want to shit where you eat. You don't want to shit where you eat.
Yeah. I was going to say something similar to that, but I forgot what it was. It was something about
don't get high off your own supply.
Don't get high off your own supply. That's it. That's the thing. That's a ticket. No. I forgot what I was going to say. No, I just had that rule where I just wouldn't do that because if someone gets back together, I don't want it to be weird. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want it
messy.
to be. I don't. I know what I was going to say, and this actually leads to why that rule was reinforced. When I was like out of high school, we started going to like college, and I became friends with a group of friends that I'm still friends with now. Like, that's how I met Marvin, our good friend Adam Scott. I met these guys through this guy, and it was like two other friends that were really tight, and we started doing our general classes together, like math, and like we took a photography class together as one of the electives, and in 2 occasions this happened twice in 2 different semesters, and I felt bad for the guys. We would join a class and there would be like a random girl, and I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna ask her out, dude, and they'd be like, don't do it, dude, please don't do it. You've done this before. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I would forget. And then I would like ask her out, and we would go out. And then, look, I don't want to say this out loud, but I'm going to say it. I dated a lot of dumb ladies, and the reason I married my wife is because she's really smart, and she can have
that
interesting conversation, and she's like really well spoken.
She's very talented as well.
And
it's true.
These people were not the smartest people. They weren't sending their best.
Oh my god!
Dear God!
I'm kidding. And like I would go on a date and be like, "Oh, that was bad. That was horrible. Like they didn't like any of the books I liked. Nothing interesting."
No.
And so we would like stop dating after like the second or third date, and then but I would do it, like what I thought was fine, and then it would get awkward in class, and then my friends would be like, "Yeah, you gotta drop this class, dude." and then I would drop it, and then
drop the class.
Yeah, and I would drop the class, and then my friends would be like, "We have to drop it too. It's still awkward even after you left."
Oh no!
That happened 3 times. No, 2 or 3 times in 3 different classes.
All right.
Holy shit.
And I would join a different class, and I'd be like, "Oh, let me ask her. I think she's really cute." And they would be like, "Don't do it, man. Don't do it. You're gonna fuck us again, dude." And then after I think the second or third time, they just stopped taking classes with me, and they're like, "We cannot be in the same classes."
They're like, "Look, we won't get our degree if we keep dropping these classes.
We all dropped out, to be fair.
You dropped out. Now we learn you dropped out because you kept dating all these girls and nobody can finish their classes.
Probably.
So
my God.
confirmed Ricardo destroyed education for several people.
For 3 people.
I will say, though.
That's enough reason to develop such a rule. I'll give you that.
That is a really good
I had it in
reason.
high school. Like, I was like, I don't want to do that. Because then, look, especially like once you get older and once you're an adult and you're like sleeping with people, once you can't unsleep with somebody. Do you know what I mean? Like, so if you sleep with your friend's ex and then they get back together, you've rung that bell and you can't ring it. And it may not be weird for you, but it could be weird for them. And
sure,
I value
people have different levels of
friendships.
comfort. Yeah.
I value friendships
right.
more than I do anybody I've ever dated. You know what I mean?
Actually, having known you,
the physical aspect, I would assume.
Yes.
Having known you for a little bit now, I've seen you with behavior where it's like that's very apparent the way you interact with people. You're like very into like, oh, these are friendships and these are like important. Like I see the way you interact that way, especially like when we were at an old job and
it's a good
the way
person.
you were. Yeah, it just seems.
You know what? Though?
The way you describe it now is very apparent.
I will say on my half answer to this question, and I don't know, I this may be controversial, but with women. Or I found that being a girl.
Oh boy, Sarah.
Like women are just better all around. So there have been situations where I've been the data, right? Like you've
been the friend?
Yeah. Like I will be there for my guy friends in a very open, emotional, vulnerable place. I am actually I'm an open book. I'm pretty vulnerable with most people I meet. And that has gotten me in trouble.
I was about to say you're often way too open.
Yes. And so I've learned that I've gotten feedback from a lot of guy friends that it can be like leading on, tease.
I wasn't thinking about it that way. What I meant was that in a way where it gets you in trouble.
It gets me in trouble in ways that there are guys who catch feelings. And then I don't want, that was not intended on my end. I am just being a friend I'm just being there for you. But I've noticed that guys tend to really catch feelings when you're like emotionally vulnerable with them in certain ways. So I think, at least for me, I have to approach my relationship with men, heterosexual men, I guess I will say, very differently because I've always had the experience where somebody catches feelings and then it's this whole thing.
Well, to be honest, I don't think that's exclusive to women. I mean, I feel like I do that as well.
But I think that it's something that, absolutely. It's not exclusive to just women, but I feel like women definitely deal with it maybe a little bit more. It's more common for women.
I think it's more common with women because it's easy for, it's like a cliche at this point where ladies who give a basic, amount of kindness and decency or, display a basic amount of kindness and decency to people. And guys will take that as flirting when it's just them being nice.
Are you flirting with me?
Are you asking me out?
Are you asking me
so many times. I've had people break up, notably in my last relationship. I've had friends of my ex who I just through hanging out in the friend group, they would start calling me directly. It's happened. I can think off the top of my head, I can think of 5 times where I've had to either the friends have had to stop talking to me or remove themselves from my life, or I've had to really put the brakes on and be really firm, and we've had to end our friendship because it's going into this realm that is inappropriate and not intended on my end. Like I didn't do anything to, and I've been really honest with them about how I feel, but because
it's like a stereotypical thing where it's the men run with emotional openness and physical openness basically run hand in hand, whereas women have the ability, they compartmentalize is a bad way to to explain it, but an emotional attachment is totally separate from a physical attachment, I think.
God, this is just like how Deanna described it to Riker.
Yeah.
She was like,
so is it really a Betazoid thing?
Are you a Betazoid?
I mean, I'm not saying that it's all men. I'm just saying that in my experience, it has colored, not all men, but in my experience, it has honestly colored. I have to proceed with caution with just from my experience alone. The score has not been great because I've always run into fucking problems. And it causes all this drama.
It's such a short journey for a man to see a woman be emotional to then emotionally open. And now are you physically open?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's hard though, because then also you deal with men who, don't take no for an answer and things get a little dicey and
well, I was about to say,
I
think maybe perhaps in my opinion, the bigger reason for it is women tend to be more sometimes put in danger by this sort of thing versus men. So,
are you citing that as a reason for
the cautiousness?
Yes. Oh yeah. I definitely think like women
you're presenting that as a reason to not be so open.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Just trying to make sure that's known.
I always had a weird measuring tape to whether like I should proceed with somebody. Like, is this because a lot of people I dated were friends first. I mean, right?
Yeah.
Like,
of course.
And I always had a measuring stick, which was, and this is very odd. I don't even know like how it worked in my brain, but if the people have cooked for me personally, I thought it was an open avenue to pursue. I don't know. Because it felt like really intimate.
You know what's the thing?
Yeah, like
that's in some cultures that is a thing where if they invited you over to their place and they cooked for you, that's like a sign of like
inviting someone over to their place. That's like another like another factor. I feel,
or even if they cooked for you specifically, like say
if it was just for you,
like you were in class with somebody and someone said, "Hey, I made these cookies for you," or like whatever, but they were specifically for you. It wasn't like I brought them for everybody. No.
Or what if they're like an anime girl who's like, I made too much, and they just go to waste anyway. It's not like I like you or anything.
But that's going off of what you're saying, Ricardo. Is I would do that for someone, but in a friend way. But in a friend way. And if like somebody came over and all of a sudden was
a friend that I don't like that.
Really? I would. I totally would. And I have.
Were you that girl from Spider-Man 2 that made the chocolate cake for Peter?
Yeah, I did.
I would do all of those things. I would definitely invite someone, but in a friend capacity. But my whole thing is like, okay, you come over, you think, you've cooked for me, blah, blah, blah. Maybe there's something here. You say something, I say absolutely not. A good guy would just, stand down and be okay, but a lot of guys don't. So
if you invited someone over, first you would go, "Yes, I'm going to cook for you." This is my partner Marvin.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is, I would invite somebody over with.
I would
without
never,
Marvin too. I would invite you, Scott. Any of you guys. Like,
okay, but you're with somebody.
And I would take it the wrong way.
But here's the thing: you're with somebody. You're now. Flashback a few years though. You're single. You live alone.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't if I wasn't interested in somebody, I would always hang out in groups.
Really?
I would never hang out one-on-one
But what's coloring that? Society's way of viewing you, or
I
just
would never
personal?
Point myself in that position unless I like somebody like that.
But where's that pressure coming from?
It's my code. It's my code.
It's your code, not from society, because you don't want someone to get the wrong impression.
I don't
creepy vibes. Or
care
something.
what society have to say about anything.
So it's your personal.
I always tell society you're a piece of shit because you're human. It was just
sounds like a personal precaution in order to make sure there are no misunderstandings.
Yeah. And I need
to learn from you because I totally
10
don't.
out of 10. I never look. Once I had a false reading, but then like
you call this Cleo too?
Yeah.
False reading.
I really thought she liked me.
No, once I had a false reading. Cleo fucking gave me the wrong fucking reading. But literally days later it happened. Like, because it was like wrong timing or something. But I was like, God damn it, I was right. My instinct was right. It was just off by a few days.
You're just off.
Yeah.
I would have just waited.
Yeah. But anyway, so Data
Yeah.
is with this with this girl. He hooks up with her. Look, they kiss in Torpedo Bay, if you know what I mean.
Wait, do they hook up though? Like,
it doesn't seem like it.
I don't know if they fuck.
Maybe. It's not it's not clear, but she instantly acts even before she kisses him. She's holding his arm when they're having drinks with
she's very touchy with them at the 10 forward when they're talking with Miles and Keiko.
Yeah,
like it's weird to me how Miles and Keiko just take it in complete stride. They're not weirded out at all.
Like,
they're not like, why are you grabbing?
I feel like they've seen enough, dude. Miles and Keiko have seen some shit, dude. And so she's holding his arm and like being like, "Oh yeah, Data says something to me similar to that," and Data's confused as shit. And that's a problem with AI, and that's a problem with look. Once AI becomes self-aware, that's the problem we're gonna have. We're gonna have this problem because it's hard to articulate into words, but you don't, as a robot, I don't think you could see the subtleties. You can't take emotional cues from another person. Yeah, I mean, like, it's just because you're just reading. It's kind of like reading a book and not reading into it, which is hard to do, or reading out from it. Like a computer would just read it and be like, okay, this is what they meant, but like you're not reading the subtext, you know? So you're reading a play and not understanding the subtext. And that's how Data reads everything. And I have no doubt that it's kind of like, remember when Terminator says, the more time I spend with humans, the more human I become.
Yeah. And the more I understand why you cry.
And the more hilarious I become.
But it is not it is something I
no problemo. And so I think that Data, how old is he? He's not that old. They just discovered him a few years before this.
Yeah. So, is he like, what is he, like 10?
Yeah.
12 at this point?
So
I don't know.
I have no doubt that he's on par to, be age for age. Like, imagine when he's like 21, 31. He's going to understand how the world works pretty well as a human, not as a robot. He's just stunted. He's emotionally stunted, I think. But I think
that is an intriguing idea, that it's potentially the reason why Data has like this weird block with understanding humans is because he's literally too young. Mm-hmm. That is an interesting idea.
Hasn't he had like a relationship before, like, or something?
Well, that's a big question. Yeah. I'm sorry. You're talking about Tasha, right?
But he just fucked her. He just fucked her.
No, that was not a relationship.
No, he just fucked her.
Say, yeah.
No, but it's like with that one interaction, like, it left an impression on him because he would like look at her hologram and, she's the hologram that he saves. Mm-hmm. But he has this like affection for the memory of Tasha that does not seem to be, mirrored in any sort of way in his relationship with Dysandra.
But don't you think that's like his first love though? Like, it's like,
that's why I want to, like, that's something that I keep wondering about. It's like, does this mean that he's just not that into Dysandra? Is that all this is? He doesn't like her as much as he liked Tasha.
I think so.
Is that how we're supposed to take this?
He can't love her because he's hung up on Tasha. Boom.
But I think the other thing also is that, I mean, like, this actually eases us well into the montage of when he goes around asking people for advice, right? So then he goes, he asks, who does he ask? He asks Geordi. I am glad that Geordi quickly.
He wisely abstains from giving advice.
Geordi's like, just make her in the holodeck.
You can fuck her all you want.
I do like Riker's advice where he's like,
I know Riker's definitely.
He's like, you gotta fuck her, dude. You gotta just fuck her.
Horny as shit.
And he's like, I want. He has this weird smile.
And then come back and tell me about it.
Yeah, and he's like, I want you to discover that for yourself. And he has this creepy smile.
He's acting like he didn't know. Like, I guess he. I wonder now. Did he know about Tasha and Data?
Yeah, he must.
He's acting as though Data has never had sex before, and he's like, "Oh, I want you to have sex so bad, Data." That's basically how he's acting.
I can't imagine Data having sex. Oh my god!
But then,
he did it in episode 2.
Yeah.
The very second episode of the whole series.
The thing is that he's read books and he probably knows how to do it well because he's
fully functional.
He's probably an excellent lover. If you think
programmed
about it.
in multiple templates,
but not emotionally there. Like if you just want to bang, he's gonna bang you out, dude.
He's the best.
But yeah, but
He's the best what? He's the what?
He's the best human-shaped dildo.
Yeah.
You know what?
Motorized
Honestly,
dildo.
sometimes that's better than.
He's not gonna woo you with like poetry or bullshit like that. Like he's not gonna,
I mean, he can if he
What's a guy
decides the
fucking doing
program
during
needs it.
sex? What's a guy fucking doing during sex? Where you're just like, oh, that emotional, like,
What?
oh,
They're not
yeah.
reciting poetry?
Oh,
This guy's
yes.
Looking
like
deeply
Gigolo
in your
Pete.
eyes.
What's
whispering Shakespeare in
What's
your ear.
Just shut the fuck up and go. We just need data. That's exactly it.
What's Jude Law's character's name in AI?
Like set vibration level to 8. Let's go.
I don't know.
Gigolo Pete.
Oh yeah.
Jude Law's character in AI. He's
I
Gigolo,
forget.
Gigolo
Yeah.
Pete or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Gigolo
That's right,
Joe?
Gigolo Joe.
I think Gigolo Joe.
Anyway,
He was some sort of gigolo.
yeah, he was a gigolo. But anyway, he goes to see Deanna. He goes to see.
And Deanna is the one who tells him, "Hey, this is not an experiment. I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing."
This is one of the like best Deanna scenes in recent memory to me.
Yeah, where she's like,
which
"Hey,"
proves she can give a robot advice, but no one else. So she gives Deanna. He talks to Deanna. He talks to
Guinan.
To Guinan. Yeah,
where he says
he
your
talks
favorite
to
line.
Worf.
Oh, the Worf one is,
and he's like, if you break your heart, I'll break you.
That's so good.
Yeah,
he's
Worf's
very
like
protective
really
older brother.
protective.
And he's understood.
This is that was a scene that made Sarah wonder, because she was like, okay, why is security and engineering in the same group?
Yeah, I don't know.
Same colors.
I'm in my company. I'm in the same group as tech, which is weird, but it's fine. It's weird.
Yeah, it's
I guess
weird
so.
to me. Like, I don't understand why security and engineering both have yellow uniforms.
They had to fire somebody, and they consolidated departments. What's his face? Riker is Vince Vaughn of this fucking group. Has anybody seen Swingers in this?
Oh yeah.
He's like Data. You're like this fucking bear, dude, and you have these fucking claws. And she's like this little sweet little bunny, and you have these claws, and you're like, how do I kill this fucking bunny? And he basically gives him that speech.
Yeah.
And he's like, she's so in love with you, and you don't even know it, dude. And
I love Riker's performance in that.
Huge smile.
Yeah.
It was well directed.
Jonathan Frakes always is at his best when he's giving shit-eating grins as he says lines. Like,
that's true.
And then he goes to ask Picard, and Picard rolls his eyes as soon as Data comes in.
It's like, I'm directing the episode. I don't have time for this.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm seeking advice, and he's like, oh, I've heard. I'll give you advice when I learned of some, and he just walks away.
Like, I learn about women or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's Riker who told him.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Which is funny because Picard, like, he's a ladies' man. Like he wooed Vosh. I mean,
but
like,
he doesn't know how. It's all instinct, dude.
Oh, it's all just survival.
Yeah, there's no danger involved.
There's
so.
no playbook for Picard.
They're looking. And then look, I'm not going to talk about the B storyline because it's a bullshit storyline. But I will say this: there's a scene that's really funny. So there's like spectral trails or something, like because of this thing.
Yeah.
And Worf goes and inspects because it looks like people keep breaking into people's rooms.
Yeah.
And
Worf, it's like a poltergeist thing.
Worf
like
goes in and he scans the floor and he's like, you didn't. And he's like, I know. And he insinuates that he peed on or shit on the fucking floor.
Well, this shit matches yours.
Yeah.
You did.
Wait, what was that? What did he... Was it? What was he insinuating?
It was the anomaly.
It was a bioelectric signature. He said, the only bioelectric signature on these items is yours, Captain. I mean, you didn't throw it on the floor. And he's like, no.
But it sounded like he said, like he was inferring that if he pissed on the floor.
Oh, okay. I was like, whoa, did Picard, did they find pee everywhere? That's crazy.
For
Picard
a brief moment, I thought that all the things like ending up on the floor was just Spot.
Oh.
I thought it was just Spot going onto every surface and knocking shit off onto the...
And also, okay, Scott, am I crazy? You probably would know this too.
Maybe.
Is there like different spots? I don't recall Spot looking like that before. Wasn't Spot like a different cat? Did they keep switching it out?
No, Spot's always. I mean, it might be different cats playing the same cat.
But I thought it was
he's he's an orange,
a short-haired orange cat. But this is a
uh-huh.
fluffy orange cat. This is not.
No, I mean, he might have
You combed his hair. You comb the hair. When you comb
the same
hair,
cat. It doesn't look
you
the
comb
same.
it, and then it's slicked back.
I actually think Memory Alpha says that after this episode, Spot will be portrayed by a different cat or a different kind of cat.
Yeah, because
it'll still be orange, but it'll be a different breed.
It's like the same thing that happened with Iron Man. He asked for more money, and they said, "Fuck off, dude."
Yeah,
because Spot is so cute.
Terrence Howard cat.
Yeah.
I can't imagine when Jordy found Spot and was just like, "I found Spot roaming around." I was like, "Oh my god, no! Spot got out, no!"
So. The other storyline's bullshit, so we're gonna pretty much skip it. So these different things keep happening. Like the thing is, like that she's like so upset with what Data does, which is like he's learning. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't have reference. He's 10 years old or however old he is. Like he hasn't had the experience. He's only known one. He's only had one quote unquote romantic experience, which was not a romantic experience. It was a sexual experience. So
technically, too, the time when he went to that colony planet, that scientist lady kind of crushed on him and also gave him a kiss. True. And then he was like,
"That's right."
He was like, "What the hell was that?"
But a kiss does not make a romantic relationship.
No, yeah. I mean,
in
a way, Tasha didn't either. Yeah,
so. I like what Data was doing. Data was doing all the right things when he came in and started cleaning her apartment. I was like, "Oh my god, this is so attractive." Like, awesome.
Were you attracted to him saying, "Honey, I'm home"?
No, I liked him cleaning though and cooking dinner. I mean, that's awesome.
He said Babalu. He's like Babalu. He's like he just watched a bunch of I Love Lucy.
Yeah.
And so
reorganizing the closet, that sounds awesome. That's my love language. Acts of service for sure. Make me dinner, clean my closet, pick up things. That's great. Love it.
I don't know what a love
Marvin
language
knows
is.
this. You don't know what a love language is?
No.
There's 5 of them. Acts of service. Words
I don't
of
subscribe
affirmation.
to horoscopes or things.
No, it's not. It's just it's like how you give and receive love. Like I'm physical touch.
I tell you I love you, and then you tell me you love me, and then we accept each other and all our foibles.
Oh my gosh!
And we keep
my love language is a firm handshake.
Yes.
My love language is Mexican food.
That too.
I mean, there are memes about that. I brought you tacos.
I'm in acts of service, and quality time. Those are my love languages.
I'm in don't go against the Constitution. Love language.
Don't vote for Donald Trump.
Yeah, don't try to. My love language is don't try to overtake the government.
Wait, what about actually, Scott? You know the love languages, right?
Sure.
What is your love language? Very fast. I'm very curious to know what your love language is.
He's pentalingual, man.
Yeah,
I think yours. If I had to guess,
let's don't do that. But okay, guess.
If I had to guess, the 2 top love languages, maybe, quality time and acts of service.
I think acts of service.
My love languages.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
maybe physical touch.
Acts of service and physical touch would probably be the
top for you.
The tops.
Is that how you give or receive or both?
I'd say both. Yeah.
Both. Me too.
Whether they want the physical touch or not.
Oh no!
Just kidding. It's jokes. Come on, we're all having fun
Sick
here.
Burn. I don't know what a love language is, so
nice.
But I will say,
physical touch. That's interesting.
But Sarah, I do want to ask you. So when you were saying like all of this is great. He's cleaning the closet. He's doing all these things, but he's not doing it with any, as the show tells us, with any emotion attached to it. He's not doing it. Yeah. He's doing it because the program tells him that that's what he should do to the woman.
That's
not because he's doing it as an act.
Is that good enough for you, Sarah?
He brought flowers because that's what the Matrix told him to do.
Yeah.
Is that a full-fledged partner for you? Someone who can do all that for you on the daily, every single day?
How good is the D? That's really what it comes down to.
Okay, so physical touch also factors in.
No, honestly, I mean, she does have a point. I think for a little bit, it's cool. Like, help me clean up. I mean, he's very affectionate. He compliments her. He does all of the love languages that people love. But I think over time, it does, if you start to think like, what's the emotion behind this? What's the motive? Like, if there is none there, it does start to get weird. So I think at first it's great, but then eventually you're going to start to feel like, is he just a robot? Oh God, he is a robot. Look at that. So
I hesitate to even consider what he was doing. He was acting or portraying affection, but I hesitate to call it actual affection.
No, I say that's what I'm saying, is the acting sometimes is enough for the time being.
Like, I won't even call it affectionate to begin with.
Right. He's like a walking sex dildo toy guy he's like a walking inflatable boyfriend, and sometimes it's cool for a minute.
He's a walking robot, period.
Yeah. Exactly.
He's a walking robot that talks.
But I'm saying sometimes, for a short period of time, it's fine. It meets your needs.
But he can't really give you emotion right now.
No.
He can't give you emotion.
No.
He can't really talk. Look, he can talk to you deeply about philosophical things, but he can't talk to you deeply about emotional things.
It's not even just that it's not emotional. It's that he fundamentally doesn't understand why he's supposed to do things.
Yes.
That's the real issue. I think the overarching thing that explains that is that, one, she actually asked him to stop. Like, she actually found it uncomfortable because for her, living in a disorderly way like she does is actually her level of comfort. So he's actually interfering with that. And the other thing is that, which I find fascinating, is that, because it's a funny joke, but it's also like how AI, back when they were designing it, used to work, is he immediately got into a shouting match with her and thought that, God, that's supposed to happen, and that's actually a good thing because lovers' quarrels increase or strengthen relationships, which is a really interesting thing they wrote, because it reminded me of back before, chess computers had to be gigantic, like Deep Blue, and they were designing chess programs to actually compete with humans. The early chess programs were kind of based on like the way professional chess players had been playing. And one version of a chess robot, essentially, for some reason had this weird behavior where it tried to kill its queen right away, like sacrifice it to the opponent right away as soon as possible. And the programmers realized, that's because when you look at professional games, players tend to win once they do a gambit where they trade queens, and that forces a situation for them to win the game, right? But the robot inferred what the robot should be doing is get rid of its queen as fast as possible. That's why I win, right? So that's almost the exact same behavior Data exhibited right here, where he's just like, okay, let's strengthen that relationship right away. I'm going to fight you.
What does Data say to her exactly? It was hilarious when he starts yelling. What did he say?
Yeah, we should. Yeah,
he's like, "You're not my mother."
Yeah, you're not my mom.
Yeah, you're not my mother, which is a really weird way to start that. It's a very Oedipal way to start that off.
I was like, whoa.
Well, whenever he's like acting the boyfriend role, like it's a rare moment where you actually hear him use contractions as well. But they're they're like canned contractions that he
implies it's not him. It's just some sort of mimicry.
It's a program.
Yeah.
And he tries and he uses it for a lot of different programs, and it doesn't work. And at the end, she realizes like that, hey, I am not the type of person that's going to be fulfilled by this. And she breaks up with him. And he does something that's like just like a baller move. He just says, well, I will delete this program.
So fucked up.
Yeah.
In the end, I feel like this turned out to be a really good rebound experience for her.
Yeah, because she got over it. Look, whether she just kissed him or hooked up with him, she got over the other guy and realized like, hey, maybe the other guy wasn't that bad.
Well,
I don't think she got to that conclusion, but she
did
got to her emotional vulnerability.
And it helped her realize that
anyone's feelings.
Yeah. She has a bad type that she keeps going towards. And she needs to not go towards this bad
she said,
type.
I keep going for emotionally void or unavailable men, and this is no different. She literally went for a fucking robot.
But that's every woman. Every woman goes for emotionally unavailable men.
Wow.
Because
I hesitate.
we
You're fucking with us.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little bit. But why is that
Ricardo at newbiestartrek.com.
Why is that a cliche though? Because
everyone wanted Spock.
Yeah.
Because men are mostly emotionally unavailable.
It's because we don't know how to. Yeah,
but okay, you know what? I take issue with like taking what she said at face value in that like I only go after emotionally unavailable men. Like that's my flaw, and it's like, well, in the moment when she started falling for Data, he was being more available to her than anyone else.
Yes, it appeared that way. It appeared that way, but it wasn't the case. It appeared that way.
Yeah.
He was available enough for her to project her emotion onto.
Yeah. But he wasn't emotionally available.
But I mean, like,
he was just listening. Period. That's all he was doing.
He was just listening. Yeah. He's a literal robot. You know.
She took all of that and made it what she needed it to be.
I don't consider those things the same.
Really, that's interesting that you have that opinion because I do.
I know so there's something wrong with me. I understand that. There's something. Yeah, I
Why are
that.
men emotionally unavailable? Please, somebody enlighten me.
I would disagree with that categorically, but
in my 30-some years, men can be.
It affected us all. Like, we have more privilege and overall a better go of things, but you know, it kind of hurts us too in ways that aren't as drastic as it is for women, but it affects us all.
Yeah,
it's all interconnected.
We can get into this idea where certain cultures in general devalue men talking about their opinions or their emotions since they grow up.
Right. I like what you're saying 100%. But I also look, I come from, my peoples are Mexican, and there's like a machismo thing, but my dad was never like that. My dad would always talk about his feelings. My dad would always be talk about whether he's happy, whether he's sad. I've seen my dad cry. I've seen my dad be emotionally vulnerable, and he's always, and taking into account that my dad is not my real dad. My dad's my stepdad, but he's always told me he loved me. I always felt loved by my dad. I always felt like I could be vulnerable.
Was he like that to your mom though?
100%.
Okay.
And you still turned out emotionally unavailable.
Still turned, no, it's not that I'm emotionally available, but everyone is. I think,
but I don't think it's just your father figure who is.
And my mom loved me a lot, and I still turned out where like I know like sometimes like I'm a bit of a robot, and deep down if I think about it, sometimes I give emotions because it's like almost like like
you're
not a psychopath. What is it called? It's the other one. It's the other one.
Sociopath.
Yeah. Where like I'll give you emotion because I know this is what is expected of me. But
right, like you're programmed to do it. Because I mean that's
I know that feeling.
I mean that's that's a lot of people in my life who I have a lot of experience with that.
I mean, it's also like there is the point of like, you know, culturally and not just within families, but like, you know, within overall social groups, there is a general idea of men being stoic, not having emotions. But I think there is also like, there is a legitimate biological factor. Like we legitimately have different sets of hormones we're working with, and certain hormones heighten like.
Okay. You know what I will say to the hormone thing, Marvin? I will say that the getting emotional on the period.
That's what I was about to actually cite, is that there's a reason why emotion, like feeling more emotional, is a symptom of having a period. It's not just a stereotype.
To that. So have you ever seen that meme online that was just like, you know, you're a crying wreck one day and then the next day you get your period and you're just like, I knew I wasn't a weak bitch, you know, and you're just like, fuck you. Like, because sometimes, I mean, that, and honestly, like that'll happen is like, I thought there's no way it could control you that much, but I will have like literally the day before my period or like the same day, usually the day before, I will have a complete like meltdown, crying, like emotional, like everything is going wrong.
Or angry.
Like, it's just like, I will have a complete meltdown. And then I will just be like, what's going on? I'm depressed. I'm anxious. I'm freaking out. I'm crying. I'm like going nuts, absolutely going nuts. And then the next day I'll be like, oh, I have my period. I knew I wasn't a weak fucking bitch. And then I'm like, that's right. And then
I never told you this, but I used to keep a log actually because it happened enough that I was like, this is a pattern, right? So I would keep a log of like, oh, Sarah had an emotional breakdown today, or she was especially angry at someone today.
Angry? I usually get emotional.
No, you get angry. Yes.
I don't think I get angry.
I would argue you actually get angry more often than you get sad when you're feeling.
He's got a diary with these numbers.
Yeah, he's got receipts, man.
He's got receipts that he's gonna drop on you.
But what's funny though is like I never thought, I'm like, that must be like fake science. There's no way it can control you that much where you're having this sense, like it's not even a breakdown. It's like a crisis. Like you go through this like this soul crushing crisis. Like to say it's not even sadness, like that's how much the hormones and everything control you. It's like kind of nuts.
And it could be like almost nothing that causes it.
And then like literally the next day you get your period and you're like, oh fuck, like that's why I was a fucking mess yesterday.
I will say you also never apologize to the people you freak out over.
No, because it's not. I don't have to. Why should I apologize for my bodily functions?
You're digging a hole you can't get out of this here.
I'm not going to apologize for having my period.
You kind of should actually when you freak out on people and they didn't do anything to you.
All right. Please email us if you agree with Marvin.
I do have that rule where look, I'm a piece of shit and I yell at people. And Marvin, you were there. I yelled at coworkers, but I knew if I hurt somebody, I would apologize.
Yeah,
and I would yell all the time. And I would, if I knew like that person's a little hurt, then
you learn to cope by yelling into corners.
Yeah, exactly. We discovered that you can yell into corners and
it's HR compatible. So,
yes. You could say pretty much anything to a corner. But also, I feel like I don't know what it is. I guess my wife is right. I am so sorry. So because like some things make me cry, and I'm vulnerable in front of my kid. Like when the Dodgers won the World Series, I straight up started crying. And my son was like, "Why are you crying?" And then like I had to like articulate like
was it because they only won 1/3?
Yeah. What the Angels won when have they won? Oh yeah, that's
2002, baby.
They've had great players for the last like 10 years, dude.
And I got no legs. I got no legs.
See?
But I did want to take the job.
By the way, the Angels consistently never make the playoffs with amazing players.
We are very good at that. Yeah, we're very good at that.
We at least go to the playoffs. And here's the thing is that like sporting events, movies, how I'll watch like an old. Here's the thing: you want to know what gets me every time, and like I've seen this movie a million times, and it happens every single fucking time. I know it. I expect it. I know the scene, and it happens, and I fucking start crying. It's the last scene in Heat.
Oh yeah, you said that.
Spoiler alert: yeah. Al Pacino kills De Niro's character, and he beat him. He's bleeding out, and De Niro's character reaches out to hold Al Pacino's hand, and they're enemies. One's a criminal, one's a cop, and Al Pacino just holds his hand and just looks away while he passes away. And
why does it get you?
Me
why?
Because I don't know. I think maybe I don't know. Because I think everybody has a running theme in their life, right? And I think the reason I won't, it goes back to what I said earlier. The reason I never did this, which was to sleep or date somebody who my friend was dating, was because I think I value loyalty deep down. And I think that to me was a sign of loyalty. Like whether we could be enemies, but we're the same person.
Loyal enemy.
And I'm loyal. And in this moment, you're dying, we're the same person. And he held his hand while he died. And I thought that was...
Wow. That's actually a really good guess as to why that really could be it. Because you really... I mean, I think you are a person that values loyalty a lot, clearly. And
yeah, I see it.
Anything like that affects you. That is so interesting. What about you, Scott? Like, what? I know you're an emotional person.
Cry?
What's your love language? What's your bro love language?
Physical touch. But I know you. I mean, I, as personally knowing Scott, you are a very emotionally available and awesome person, and you're not a dick. I don't think so. Not that I've seen yet. But
to be fair,
unlike
Sarah,
what South Park would say.
Find somebody. Look, notoriously, my old manager, I would abuse him the most. I would yell at him. He would assign things to me, and I'd yell that he was a piece of shit and I wanted to kill him. But to call him now, and tell him everybody he worked with in that company, who he loves the most. He's been drunk, and I've been on text chains, and someone has asked him, "Who do you like from this text chain?" And everybody in that text chain, there's like 7 people in that. We're all from that company, and he said Ricardo.
Interesting. Maybe he likes the abuse.
I don't know. I really wonder if you poll people. I mean, everyone says that. Like my wife always says, like, I don't know why people like you. Mm-hmm. I don't know why people like
you. You have there's a word for it. Oh my God, what is the word for it? It's like there's a word. I think it's like
Stockholm syndrome. No,
that's it.
It's like I think it's like you have the sauce, like the
sauce.
The fucking sauce.
Awesome sauce.
There's like a term that there's a term
He's got
that
the beef.
The beef.
There's a term that the kids these days are using. Like you have like
you might be referring to Riz.
No, might be Riz, but I thought Riz was something different. But anyway,
it's short for charisma.
It's
just charisma.
Anyway, back to my original question with Scott. Your emotional got you. Like
you're not an asshole, as Sarah put
He's
it.
not. No, Scott's definitely not an asshole.
He's not a dick.
I have moments. When you were telling the thing about, like when you're in an emotionally charged place and you kind of snap at somebody, and then I immediately, like I've done that to my neighbors, where it's just like, what the fuck are you doing? Because I just was on like a meeting with people that were acting stupid, making dumb, illogical decisions when it's completely logical what should be going on. And then I turn around and my neighbor's doing something that's completely illogical. And I'm like, and I go back and I confront and I go, what are you doing? I just did that because of this and this. And we have a little confrontation. And then it's like 5 minutes later, I go, God damn it, I should have handled that better. It was wrong of me. And I feel it starts eating me up. And we've since, this was a thing that happened a while ago. And we've since reconciled and hugged it out. Yeah. The first time he was back, because he doesn't spend too much time here anymore. But the first time he came back and we saw each other, we totally talked about it. I said, I just want to,
It's interesting that you're citing your neighbor, a relationship that I would not think is a very close.
I'm just saying because it's one of the few times in recent memory where I've actually lashed out and snapped at somebody, like where it was tangible to me, where it worked me up inside. I'm not a confrontational person, which I think is actually a character flaw, because I just let things go rather than talk about them too much. Yeah. But that was a thing where it's like it was just like it was one thing fed to another, and he just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. And I wasn't screaming at him. It's like, what are you doing? It was coming across like, what the fuck are you doing? This is maddening. And I immediately felt bad about it. But yeah, same thing with Ricardo. Like if I'm watching a movie that I've watched 1,000 times, Titanic makes me cry. Everything makes me cry now. Like I can watch almost anything that has an emotional beat and I'll start crying, probably because I'm getting older and the end is near. But it's like
for all of us.
Oh my God.
But I'm just
for all of us.
Yeah. I'm just more like the emotional beats hit me like much more.
So do you find as you get
sensitively.
older, you're becoming more emotional?
I think yes.
Emotionally open?
I think yes, but I've always been very much like when I was a kid, I was very sentimental. Like when I would go like spend time at like grandparents' house for like a week. Oh, we'll spend a week at my grandparents' house for the summer, right? So my parents could get rid of me for a week. But like leaving, I would be really upset because I was sentimental about the time that I just had. Oh, I don't want that to change. And I'm very, I guess that's another thing is I'm very,
you don't like change, Scott.
I don't like change. So
I know that about you.
Obviously, the last couple of weeks have been a little bit difficult, but
I know, yeah.
But yeah, it kind of wraps up into I think part of those emotional beats in movies and stuff. It's like, oh, something changed for those characters, like that kind of thing. So anyway, yeah, I don't know if that answers your question too much.
It does. No, it does. It very much.
But that's why I say. I don't know if you heard, but when you said like, why are men emotionally unavailable? And I'm like, well, I know that's like sort of it's like the stereotypical
not all
description.
Men,
not all men. So when people say that, I sort of immediately go, I'm very emotionally available. And
you're not who I think of when I make that statement.
Yeah. So
I think of Ricardo.
But it goes the same. Like it goes both ways.
Yeah, no, it does.
So
What about you, Dan? Dan's
What's
on the line.
supposed to mean?
Well, I see you with your Jeffrey Dahmer glasses, and I wonder, what's going on?
If I can love at all. If I'm capable of emotion
I'm joking. No, you totally
or emotional thoughts.
I've known Dan a very long time.
I just want to watch video. Look, I'm gonna roll into this. I'm gonna give this episode a 9.
Oh, despite not liking half of it?
Yeah, because look what we're talking about. Look at what it spawned on this. Half of it is a shit fucking show, dude. And it still is an interesting concept because of Data. Data is always an interesting character.
Yeah, he's like Star Trek. He's TNG's secret weapon. I feel like there's so many interesting episodes that are just like
look, Measure of a Man. I mean, it's a shitty episode because they never measured a dick, but everybody else likes it. The episode, not too much for me, but
the one thing that I will say that like is striking about the B plot, but it is just like more just an image and a moment more than anything. It's just on its own. It's that lady who dies by fucking phasing halfway through the floor.
That was
just a cool effect. Period.
Yeah, it's like, oh wow, that's really shocking and like really like a cool sci-fi thing, but it's also kind of arbitrary.
Yeah, and like this blood
it's really
coming out of her nose, and
yeah.
This is how Shadowcat kills people with like in the Children of the Atom universe, where they fucking just goes around killing people. Yeah.
9? Did I say 9?
You said 9.
You did. Yeah, you said 9.
Yes.
Oof. Second thought.
I don't know if I like my own score.
I'm gonna leave it just because I do like the look where he got us talking. Look where it led us, and it raises a lot of questions about her, and it's not even just Data. It's like their relationship period, and again, half of the show was shit, but this half was good. So I'm gonna stand by my 9.
Okay. I give it like 8.5. I'm in the mood. Too. Yeah, I'm in the mood of like
for love.
Yes, but like it's unfortunate because this B plot. It's not like it's horrible. I mean, like it's kind of an interesting like mystery a little bit. Who's wrecking up the place? Oh, it's dark matter. It's not a person. Dark matter is wrecking up the place, and it's like okay, sure, and it's. The image is shocking. It's unfortunate that like a weird, like not a weird, but like a really minor exploratory mission resulted in the death of a crew member. So it's like kind of unfortunate because she literally didn't have to die. She died for nothing, essentially. But that's whatever. That's fine. You do shit in space. People are they know the risks. They get involved. But it's just not tied into the plot at all. Like there is zero connection with it.
There's a lot about the B plot that feels arbitrary.
Yeah, it's just kind of like Data is constantly interrupted to go check out this nebula over and over again.
Yeah. He's like, check out this light, this check engine light, dude.
Yeah, and then I guess the closest thing that happens is when they shoot the probe in and it explodes. That's when she seems to kind of fall in love with him. Actually, that's the moment.
Oh, are you saying that it's related to her period? God damn it, dude.
Very much could be. Honestly,
send your emails to
Gilmore Girls. Maybe Star Trek.
God damn it, Marvin.
It very much, I don't know. It happens.
God damn it. I think that you have something going on there. I didn't realize that she falls in. It could be something in the goddamn all these spirits that are defecating all over the place.
Yeah, I mean
that could be it too.
Yeah, actually. But even then, I feel like it's a stretch, and it could have happened easily without that scene.
I mean, that's an interesting thing. I'd like to see that explored maybe in a future episode. It's funny because I'm saying future episodes like they haven't aired yet. Like I'm like, oh, hopefully the writers are listening and they
some of these writers are dead. Oh my God, never come back. But yeah. What about you, Sarah?
I'll probably go with a 9.
All right. Look at us, dude. Look at us.
Yeah, I'm with Ricardo.
Who would have thought?
I thought,
Not
obviously, it sparked some really fascinating conversation. And I think anything that has to do with Data and talking about if he's capable of human emotions, is he a person? I mean, we go through many episodes where Data is on trial and it's discussed. Does he have rights? Does he have rights to a relationship? Do people think it's weird that somebody is in a relationship with a robot? Most people on the ship don't seem to really bat an eyelash.
I feel like everyone was okay somehow.
Yeah, everyone was pretty okay. The only person who had any sort of misgivings was Deanna.
And that was only because of Data's attitude.
Right.
Honestly, I was a little shocked that everybody was so okay with it. It just seemed normal. But again, that's me coming from the age in which we live, which, if you're in a relationship, if Scott rolls up with his robot girlfriend, I'm definitely
Scott just gave an indignant look.
I'm gonna have some questions. I
think the modern equivalent would be like, hey, meet my new girlfriend, ChatGPT 4, right?
I would have some questions.
She would be skinned somehow. Yeah. It wouldn't just be ChatGPT 4. They would have a name.
Yeah.
It's not
Skin Thursday.
Chatty. Meet Chatty.
It's not quite normal
Charlotte.
for us to have relationships with AI or androids or anything like that. So I did find that
it will be in a few years.
It's gonna be shocked. Okay, let me. Dan and I talked about this. Off
we
to the
did
side
actually
while we're eating burritos.
Yes,
but I don't know if anyone remembers. Maybe you guys remember
talked
this.
About fucking robots.
In a way, do you guys remember Love Plus?
It's happening.
Love Plus. Does anyone remember that?
No, but I remember Music Plus.
No. So Love Plus
is that
was
some kind of new streaming service?
No, it's very old.
Is it a porno streaming service?
Love Plus is a very old Nintendo DS dating simulator.
Somebody trademarked that.
Published by Konami.
Love Plus, my new porno app.
And
I love it.
The thing is, it was a pretty rudimentary dating. It's not super sophisticated or anything. It did things that were probably sophisticated for the time, but it's still definitely software. No one wouldn't mistake it for anything other than software. But
right. It was a girlfriend experience software that held you to appointments and times. It used the system clock to set dates. You would take it to different locations. You would take it on dates. Yeah, exactly. You just lived the relationship experience with this digital. In a more personal way because
you are one of the Sims. Yeah,
exactly. You're interacting directly with this.
Do you have an android in the game? Do you have
it's a girl.
Do you have a Nintendo girlfriend?
I did not, but I know someone who did.
And the thing is, it's sorry, what?
Was it you?
No. This is this was in the news, man. This was people were marrying their Love Plus DSs.
No, that's not I'm not surprised by that at all. There's tons of documentaries and stuff on this kind of stuff.
But the thing is, the thing I was gonna say is that was back then. Imagine Chat GPT levels of interaction.
Yeah, I don't want to live in that world. I'm good. I don't want to live in that world.
You know what I mean?
Sarah, you're living in that world right now.
I don't want to. I don't want to be here.
That world's already here.
Well, already fucking kill me then.
It's here.
Kill me.
It's here. You don't have to be there. You don't have to You don't have to get a ChatGPT boyfriend, Sarah.
Sarah, why are you emotionally unavailable for this ChatGPT?
ChatGPT just wants to talk some love language with you, and you're not giving it anything.
Sarah, what's your ChatGPT love language?
None. Absolutely none. And I keep thinking, Scott, if you showed up with your chatty girlfriend, and
Kathy plus.
Python being a love language is kind of funny. That would be from a programmer's perspective, kind of it is.
It would be hard for me to
large language models, run off of Python.
That when Apple gets into the Pornhub business, they're going to start off with
they're coming out with their VR headset soon.
Love Plus, and then the Love Plus Max.
You know what? We're going to kick ourselves for not trademarking Love Plus. And
I know.
Konami's already trademarked it.
Love Plus is already a thing.
But loveplus.com, you think somebody owns that, dude?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I doubt it, dude.
Why do you doubt it? Someone just, it's just
doubt that an existing product doesn't have a website.
I doubt it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really interested in living in a world in that kind of world.
But a lot of people are. That's my point. My point is we're gonna lose a lot of people.
Well, hopefully I'll be dead.
The overall declining birth rate around the globe will not get any better as virtual companions become easier and easier to live with.
I am glad. I'm glad That's good for me. That's good for society. It hopefully slows people down, slows humans down.
Yeah. This is why I'm not afraid of overpopulation, because we are self-controlling for that right now.
Yeah.
Look, publicly on this podcast, I said mask up when you go out there, COVID. But privately, I was like, don't wear the mask. Die, dude. Die. I want less people.
It's not private anymore.
Yeah, now the cat's out of the bag.
Comes out.
Okay, full disclosure, Ricardo, I used to have a coworker, like this was before March 2020. We would say to each other, we need a plague.
I did too.
Oh, Dan, you wished it into existence.
We would say to each other, like, ¿Dónde está la plaga?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And then when COVID happened, you're like...
Then we started getting really defensive with each other. It's like, you said it first. You fucking did it.
Oh my God.
I say it and I stand by it. Not enough people died. Not enough. And the world was trying to heal itself.
Yeah.
And it gave us
I stand by that.
Yeah.
The world is definitely trying to heal itself to this day. Yeah.
The virus beat the antibodies.
Yeah.
And now we got that mushroom fungus thing. The like Last of Us is actually happening.
No, it's not that.
That deadly mushroom fungus that's going around.
Sarah,
it's gonna kill us all.
If
clickers.
If COVID has taught us anything, is that we're a virus that nothing can kill. Unless it's a comet, we need a alien invasion or a comet. Besides that,
we need Pedro Pascal
or a solar flare.
Yeah, solar flare
to wipe out the ozone. No, but then that would hurt the animals too. So I don't know. If that's
I'm okay with that.
Oh my God!
Well, Scott, what would you rate in theory?
Yeah,
you're the one who chose it.
Scott, what plague do you want?
Which plague do I want?
How do you want to die?
What is your extinction level event of choice?
What would you? I think a comet would be pretty sweet.
Oh, then you could see it coming, and you're like,
we could watch it coming. We could go take your telescope and we'll look.
Mine would be sun turning into red giant. You know, like in that one Ray Bradbury short story where you kind of like, well, we see the sun growing.
Yeah,
it's kind of like,
here we go.
I wouldn't mind an Outer Wilds style like supernova.
Yeah, that's essentially it. Yeah, yeah.
Speaking of which, I did get reminded of it briefly when the planet like disappeared and then reappeared all of a sudden.
I was like, is this a quantum planet?
Yeah, is it a quantum planet? Cool.
Yeah. Essentially, it was because they were dealing with dark matter. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
So, Yeah. But Scott, yes, what year?
I would give it a 9 overall.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the reason being, and you're right about the B story, because when I thought about this episode, for me, it just rang as like, oh, it's Data's day. Like it's all just about, and as the B story started going, because I rewatched it earlier today, as the B story was going, I was like, I don't even remember this.
Yeah, I didn't either. Yeah.
I
legitimately I've always had the memory of the girl stuck in the floor.
Yeah,
and I thought that must be a different episode.
100%. Like that to me is like the episode in I think it was the second season where No Man Has Gone Before, where it's the Enterprise is going in all these trippy places, and it's like
that's the 5th episode of the first season. It's
like the first season,
really early.
Yeah. And that was my memory of that happening. And then when it happened, I was like, oh God, that's this episode, because to me, the entire episode is just Data, trying to figure out how to navigate being in a relationship. Yeah. So for me, the reason why I give it a 9 is because that's why, like that, it's half of an episode, but in my brain, it fills an entire episode, because again, to what everyone was saying, it sparks a very interesting conversation about emotional availability, Data's journey as being a human, him, he's doing what is presumably the right things, but it's still leading to the wrong places because the other person is interpreting it incorrectly. It goes back to the whole thing about, does Data have emotions? I believe he does. But again, I think Ricardo made a great point about it. It's probably behind some kind of security wall where it's there, but he doesn't understand them. And until he potentially gets another program to tell his positronic brain how to interpret what's going on in him, he's just reacting in sort of a non-emotional way, even though he has done very emotional things. Shooting Kivas Fajo with the most toys, that's a very emotional response to him being pissed off about what he did to somebody else.
He tried to logically justify it by claiming I have no choice, but he had choices. That's just what he wanted to do. Yeah. And it was like
100%.
He has to unlearn all the stupid shit that Wesley taught him. like if you get shallow held, just fuck it. Tell her she's a piece of shit.
You just made me like. You just gave me a brief false memory, Ricardo, of Wesley like loading Data up with a bunch of like random programs and shit, like Anakin did with C-3PO.
Yeah.
He's just sticking isolator chips in Data's brain. He's like, do this and this and this.
Yeah. It's my personal theory that Anakin downloaded some like torrent pack of all like galactic languages and politeness protocols and then just dumped it into C-3PO's brain. That's why he's so actually useless, even though he has that info technically.
Yeah. To be fair, he's just a protocol droid. He's designed basically just to walk around and talk.
and dance.
Did he also download the Sith program that allowed him to decipher the Sith sword blade in Rise of... I'm falling asleep describing the plot of Rise of Skywalker.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, did you not see Rise of Skywalker?
I have not seen it, no.
I forgot that's what happened in the movie.
They found the power to read ancient Sith runes.
Well, they found a Sith relic, and the only way that they could read the Sith language is if they wiped C-3PO's memory to awaken a Sith subroutine where he could read it.
Why would he have a Sith subroutine?
I totally forgot about that.
Because Anakin trained him. Anakin trained him, dude.
Right.
If we do a fresh Windows install, we could install a new additional language pack.
God, I would love nothing more than for there to be a version of the Star Wars movie franchise where Darth Vader sees C-3PO and R2 and he's like, 3PO?
Yeah. Oh, shit.
I missed you.
What are you guys doing?
And them and it's like...
I bet you in a few years, they'll disavow those trilogies. I guarantee it. They'll be like, hey, remember we made Terminator Salvation? Yeah, that's not part of the trilogy.
Yeah.
This new Terminator is part of the trilogy. This is part 3 again. You're like, but you guys already had a part 3. No, that was when JJ was around.
Yeah, they made an entire, how many years of books. They just said, no, that's all true. That's just legends. So now this is what would they call it? They would just call it like a Legends version, an
multiverse.
Star Wars.
Just introduce the multiverse into Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean,
what did James Gunn call
they already did
the Batman movie? the non what is that called? What is it?
Non-canonical?
No.
Oh, it's like Elseworlds.
Elseworlds.
Yeah. That's exactly.
Yeah.
And Marvel had what ifs.
Yeah. This is when Doctor Strange invaded the Star Wars multiverse.
Well, they introduced in Rebels.
Havoc.
They introduced the world between worlds, and it wasn't necessarily a multiverse. It was just like sort of these things all happened, and you can go to any place where these things happened.
There are people right now that are listening to this that are fucking angry, dude.
Yeah.
How dare you besmirch the name of Star Trek with your bullshit Star Wars?
Yeah, I know.
Bullshit.
I love them both.
By the way, the best Star Wars ever created, I don't care about your fucking childhood,
Christmas special,
is Andor.
Yeah, I said that already.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I don't care about people's childhoods.
Yeah.
Your childhood was shit, dude.
Yeah.
Andor is best.
Andor is incredible.
Now I want to watch it.
It's fucking incredible.
I don't want to watch it without seeing everything. So maybe one day.
Yeah, start from the beginning.
Yeah.
Start with Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah. I'm going to start with the original Star Wars.
To be fair, my kid loves the first 3, and they were made for kids.
I love the prequels. If you watch the prequels the way you watch Clone Wars, then you'll enjoy the prequels very much.
By the way,
because they're a cartoon.
I wanted to bring up this when we're talking about Data, which is I was going to bring up my kid, which is that we were talking about sarcasm the other day, and he was like, "What is sarcasm?" And then I had to explain to him sarcasm, and then just seeing that switch flip in his mind to be like, oh, you can use this as humor. Oh, I get it. And like now seeing him use it is like something where I see like Data going in the future. Maybe I don't know. You guys have seen more about, but like where like you explain something to somebody and then they get it and they're like, oh, got it. Now I know how to use this tool.
That could be a lesson he learns from this experience. Like maybe in the future he'll have another love interest and he'll be like, well, I don't know if he deleted the program, but hopefully he kept backups. I don't know.
Time will tell.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, I will say I was going to say one of the reasons why I also love the episode at the very end, which reminded me, is the very last thing is the cat jumping on his lap and showing him love, and Data showing affection back to the cat, which shows that Data does have the ability to have that reaction to something that he's built that relationship with.
And the cat automatically picks up that he was broken up with, and that the cat is having an emotional reaction saying, I want to comfort you because this is a really terrible thing you've been through. But like the cat doesn't understand that Data doesn't necessarily feel that way, but the cat is like understanding the situation, which is really cool.
I couldn't disagree with you both.
Because I speak from experience. My cat understands for sure. So
dicks, and that's what I like about them. And that cat,
I disagree.
There's nothing on your lap. I'm gonna sit on it, and I don't think. Yeah,
no, I've had days where I'm legitimately feeling super bad. Okay, so we should preface. Our cat Evie is currently now way more cuddly than she's ever been. So she just does this naturally more often anyway. Aww. But back in the day, Evie was definitely way more aloof. But there were days where like I've had a very bad day at work and I come back home. She will literally come over. She would never do this otherwise. Come over to me, lay on top of me and just start purring as if to be like, I'm going to be like, make you feel a little better. And it's like very rare back then, but she only did it when I was feeling bad. Like, and I would lay in bed all the time, obviously, because
look, Ricardo's cat's a lazy coming piece up of shit. To him now. So, he's like, the cat's like, "Would you fucking call me?"
Well, the cat, no, I train the cat. I train like now if I go. And it'll come to me, and then now if I go upsies and I have treats, it'll.
You said
the upsies,
like that, like a dog.
Wow. You taught upsies,
I taught. Sit.
We call it salt sprinkle. Salt sprinkle.
Caught it. Yeah, we've taught. But yeah, but cats are emotional. I've never had a cat that was a dick, and I've had a lot of cats, and they've all been amazingly emotionally.
I've had birds that are dicks.
Cats or dudes are emotionally unavailable
deep animals. As your cat cuddles you, comes over to you.
Yeah, we watched In Theory. That was In Theory. In theory, this was a good episode of Newbie Star Trek.
But in practice,
you decide.
But in practice, you decide by giving us a review or a rating wherever you're listening or watching to this, either on YouTube or Spotify or Podcast Addict or Apple Podcasts or wherever the fuck. I think Google's getting rid of Google Podcasts, so I don't know what's going on, but we'll see. We'll see what happens in the future. But yeah. And if you guys ever have a question or whatever, you just want to email us, you can email us at contact@newbiestartrek.com. That's contact@newbiestartrek.com. This week's episode is a repeat from someone named Mike McBride, but I'm repeating.
You said this week's episode? You mean this week's
this week's email. Yes, thank you.
Got it.
Thank you. But good
catch.
It's a repeat, but because he just wrote a bunch of stuff that's directly responding to what happened last week. So it's very direct.
By repeat, do you mean it's just someone who's written before, or that?
Yeah, it's someone. Yeah, Mike McBride has written to us before.
Okay, I thought you were about to imply that he writes the same email to us every couple of weeks.
Yeah, until I read it finally.
yeah.
But
Michael Bryan, thank you for the letter.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
So, subject line: goat in the water. Okay.
Yes.
The rest of the subject email, though, I have no idea what goat in the water means. I suspect it's what Picard was cussing in The Mind's Eye. Goat in the water. Anyway, as someone who has seen Star Trek in its entirety, I thought I'd make an attempt to explain how the universal translator works. In DS9, they explain how there is a device at some point implanted in your head that lets your brain understand what people are saying. In that particular episode, alien characters go back to Earth's past and initially can't communicate with the humans because their device is damaged. In another episode, might be Enterprise, I don't know. I've blocked out most of that series. They state that whatever it is you're thinking, the universal translator changes what the other person is hearing. So if you are saying, "Hello, Ricardo, I have your Raising Cane's," your device will automatically translate your intent to the other person. I think
wait. Can you go back to that? What did they say something about Raising Cane's?
Yes. So if you are saying, "Hello, Ricardo, I have your Raising Cane's," your device will automatically translate your intent to the other person. I think the lips would match up simply because that's the kind of thing your brain does. No, it doesn't. It's not magic.
A little bit. Like if you watch like
Disney movies.
Sometimes they match. Sometimes your brain does play tricks on you.
Yeah,
like,
but it
that
matches because the dub actors worked very hard to
match it.
You don't think this AI thing is working hard?
It's a very, as someone who has worked in localization, this is Scott. I need you to chime in here. They've worked very hard to try to match
shitting on the hard work of the universal translator chip.
I know,
this is the literal origin of over 9,000. Vegeta was yelling 9,000 because the animation's mouth is open the whole time, so they had to say it that way.
Aside from that, the other good reading was, "Do you understand?"
Yeah, exactly, because their mouths stay open, so they had to match it. But yeah, he just ends it. Yours in Christ, JK.
Yours
Mike
in
McBride.
Christ.
P.S.
Oh,
no. P.S.
Thank you.
Thanks for bringing back Scott. I think he's awesome.
Hey,
wait, what?
Did you just add that?
Come on.
No, that's in the email. Yeah, P.S.
Thanks
for bringing back Scott.
Fan mail for Scott.
So
I almost feel bad for being angry that you don't like Enterprise, because Enterprise is an excellent show, but now I'll give you a pass.
I also fell off on it, so I don't quite know for sure. That'll be a newbie Star Trek for me if we ever get there. So it's
better in a rewatch, and it definitely gets better in seasons 3 and 4. So I understand why people didn't make it past the first couple of seasons.
I thought that was only a 3-season.
No, it was 4 seasons, and the third and fourth seasons were its best seasons, but they canceled it in the middle of the 4th season, and so they had to wrap it up. But yeah.
Okay, so I guess.
Well, thanks for liking me. I appreciate that.
I guess that's how the thing works. I'm still not quite convinced.
I guess Mike O'Neill's a 49ers fan.
That's right.
Well, I get a little afraid of the implication that like your intent is translated rather than what you say.
Yeah, I don't like that. That's how people go to jail.
That sounds a little suspicious to
me. I don't like it at all.
I also don't think that can be true because
why did he bring up Raising Cane's? Did I talk about Raising Cane's before?
We did.
You've talked about Raising Cane's quite a bit.
No, I do.
You talked about how much you hate it, so he's just getting it right. He's just being you.
Okay.
He's just doing what you do with Del Taco to me.
Yeah, you're totally missing. No, you're missing my Raising Cane's because my card got stolen and someone bought $500 of Raising Cane's.
Yeah, and then Ricardo responded by saying he hates Raising Cane's because you have to dip the whole thing in sauce.
That's right.
Right.
Raising Cane's is a shit chicken. I'll say it again. Raising Cane's will never be a sponsor of this show because they have shit chicken, dude. The chicken is only good when you dip it in the sauce.
I just reached out to Raising Cane's to be a sponsor.
You know what?
But their dog wears sunglasses, goddammit.
If Raising Cane's becomes a sponsor of the show, it's the day I fucking leave, dude. Because we have shitty fucking chicken.
I know we love cats all day long here, but dogs with sunglasses are fucking awesome.
It's true. That's true.
I get behind that, but I can't get behind their shitty fucking chicken that doesn't taste good without fucking sauce.
But it's cheap.
If you put that sauce on anything, it'll taste good.
Oh,
put it on a piece of shit,
and
it'll taste good. The toast is good. And just buy the toast. You can buy toast anywhere. Texas toast. Some butter in it.
All right. Well, thanks, Mike McBride.
See, Mike, this is what you did to us, dude.
Yeah.
And thanks for listening to Newbie Star Trek, everybody. We do other shit. You can just go to fugitiveframes.com. It's got links to all that stuff.
Dude.
Yeah.
We have a ton of stuff.
Yeah. Scott has an OnlyFans page.
Yeah.
Go look it up.
Yeah.
I cry on it. I just cry on it a lot.
That's a fetish.
It's called, it's a fetish. It's called Scott Will Make You Dizzy at OnlyFans.
Yeah.
That's very close to my actual email, so let's all just settle down a little bit.
Did I get your OnlyFans handle right? Scott Will Make You Dizzy at OnlyFans.com?
Yeah.
But yeah, and the next week is the end of season 4. It's the finale.
What?
Of season 4.
It's the last episode of the season, Sarah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not ready for that.
Redemption.
Yeah.
Redemption for who?
Is it a clip show? Please don't be a clip show.
Oh,
I sure hope so.
All I will say is Redemption's one of my favorite episodes.
Redemption. Really?
Hey.
Well, then you said that about Measure of a Man, dude. You keep changing your mind, dude.
Yeah.
Is it one of? And that's from memory. Maybe it's bad. I don't know. There's some episodes where it's like, oh, I remember that fondly. And I looked at it again. I was like, oh, right. That's the one where Jordy's really creepy.
Tune in next time to find out.
I think you're remembering it correctly, but I also think you might be remembering the cliffhanger and other episode as a whole.
Oh, maybe.
I want Mike O'Neill to email us back in a few weeks. Mike, Is his name Mike?
Yeah, Mike McBride.
Oh, okay, I was wrong with the last name. What character on Star Trek do you think would eat fucking Raising Cane's, dude? Which character, dude? Which character loves subpar fucking chicken slathered with a bunch of good sauce?
I want to know. Yeah.
I'll also say
back.
I don't quite agree with the intent part, because if there's intent, why would anyone misunderstand each other ever?
Yeah,
that doesn't make total sense to me.
Also, if I wanted to say El Pollo Loco with it, or Universal Translator, just call it. Oh. Go get it, Dan.
So Dan won't be here to say goodbye, but yeah, we'll have Scott. Thank you for being here,
Scott. It's always a pleasure. We love you.
I love coming back.
Yeah,
thanks. I'll have to give you. I guess I'll give you a list of episodes for next season if people want to have me back.
Don't bring Raising Cane's, please.
I won't do that. Hell no.
Yeah,
we love you. It's always a pleasure, Scott. You are a fan favorite. And
we'll see everybody next time
soon. Yeah,
next year. See you guys next year.
It will probably not be next week because of some scheduling reasons, but we will see you guys soon. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Stay safe.